Well, hello, everybody. We're doing something I don't know if we've ever done before, and that is we're doing a Sunday night show. Let me get the ticker up here. There's the ticker. We'll jump to some comments here in just a second. So, let me tell you why we're doing a Sunday show. I don't think I did anything on Tuesday or Thursday, and we'll talk about why. And I know some people were really upset about it. We'll get into that. And also, I'll tell you why I'm sitting here tonight. We'll also get to some of your comments. I know some of you's been waiting a long time for the show to get live. I put the start time way out for a few reasons. We'll talk about that as well, but mainly just because with it being a Sunday show, I know a lot of people weren't expecting it. And I don't know how many people we'll have here tonight. There's a lot of activities going on, people making plans, getting ready for work tomorrow. I know my uncle, tonight's his birthday, and they're out celebrating that. So we may have this may be one of those videos that a lot of people aren't in the room tonight, but they watch it on the replay later. And so let me tell you a little bit about this week, and then I'll go back and get some of your comments. I'll get my armrest down here. So basically, I went home. I had a ton of personal problems I had to handle. Some of which were I had a grandson that had 4 seizures and had to be taken to the hospital. He was put in intensive care. He did get released today. They said he had built a tolerance up to his medication. He's epileptic. And they said that they had to increase his dosage and watch him and all of that good stuff. We got down, some of you know I've got 4 vehicles. We got down to 1 vehicle while I was there. And that's why there wasn't a Thursday show, because at 5 p.m. my wife was getting off work and I had to go pick her up. And so I wasn't able to do a Thursday show. So that just a lot of things going on this week. And I appreciate you guys' patience and understanding. The reason I am able to do a video tonight, I'm sitting at the place I've got to deliver in the morning. I got an 8 a.m. appointment. I'm hoping I can get in there at about 6 in the morning and hopefully get unloaded early. But either way, I'll be here when they're ready for me. And so just a lot going on. It's super hot here. I'm down in the southeast. I shot some videos. One of them will be coming out tomorrow morning, and then another one will probably be coming out Wednesday morning. I'm switching trailers while I'm here after I deliver this load. The owner of the company is bringing me another trailer. Throughout the video, I saw the trailer. I'll give you my thoughts on it. I just briefly glanced at it. So if you guys start asking me super technical questions about that trailer, I'm not going to know the answer. So, but there will, like I said, probably Wednesday, there will be a video about it. Let's go back in the comments and say hi to a few people. Also want to tell you about some things that are coming up. I did a survey on YouTube, and by a margin of over 2 to 1, over 2/3, as a matter of fact, said they would like to see it. So I got an insurance agent that works with truck drivers that's going to come on and talk healthcare. We hadn't set the date yet. He really wants to do it this Tuesday, but I think I want to do it the following Tuesday. Then I want to wait a couple of weeks and bring him back again. I'm hoping when we do that you guys will have some really good healthcare questions that we can ask him. And then the reason I want to bring him back a couple of weeks later is after you have time to talk to your family, to your friends, things like that, then you can come back and ask some follow-up questions. And even if you don't want to get insurance with him, you can hear what he has to say. And he's a pretty honest guy. We looked at my situation, and he felt like what I'm on now is probably the best deal for me. But you never know what he'll say for you. He may say, yeah, I've got a great deal for you. He may be able to save you some money. He may be able to get you some coverage that you don't currently have. And so probably a week from Tuesday, we're going to have him on. But like I said, he's really angling for this Tuesday. So we'll just have to see. I'm going to call him Monday morning, and we'll work it all out. Also, I've got a pretty hot load going to West Virginia. So I'm going to be running pretty hard Monday and then early Tuesday morning for sure. And then I'm still looking for something out of West Virginia. All right, we've been going now for 6 minutes. Let's jump into the comments and say hi to everybody. Asphalt was here first today. Glad he made it in. And Gary is driving like always, says he'll be listening. Glad you're here, Gary. Joe is here, giving the peace sign. And Ramon is here. Thanks for being here, Ramon. Good friend Ted is here. He's glad to see me again. Yeah, I'm glad to be back. Like I said, I know on at least one of those days, I didn't even have time to send out a post and let you guys know I wasn't going to be able to go live that night. So I know some people were legitimately worried about me. Some people were legitimately upset. And that's why I went ahead and gave you some of the details tonight. It's important to remember something. I try to do the videos as much as I can, but I have stuff come up in life just like you do. I have deliveries that run long. I have breakdowns that happen. I have, family problems at home, people in the hospital, things like that. So I do these videos as much as I can when I can. And sometimes it's more than other times, but for the most part, most of you are patient and understanding. And for those of you that aren't, I still appreciate you. I'm glad that you get excited about the videos and look forward to the next one. And I really do try my best to accommodate you guys as much as I can, and gals. I not trying to be sexist or nothing, but anyway, on with that. Let me see if I can get down to the next comment. Yes, sir, Michael, I am here. Dawn is here. Thanks for coming in. Nice, by the way. Gary's in Binghamton, New York. Man, what's it like up there? It's friggin' hot down here in the southeast. 104, 105 with the normal levels of humidity. Oh, that's something else I can tell you guys about. So I got here yesterday, and I met up with a viewer that's usually in here in the comments, one of our moderators, Tim Back. Finally got to meet him in person. He and I and the owner went out to dinner Saturday night. I had an awesome fish. I don't even know how to describe it. Had crab meat on top of it, some type of sauce. Had some laughs, had a good time. So glad I got to meet Tim. The owner put us in a hotel, and it was a nice hotel. And so that's kind of what I did this weekend since I couldn't deliver this load till Monday. But just more hospitality from the owner, showing that he appreciates his drivers and things like that. And we had a good time. And you guys know I really enjoy anytime I get a chance to meet any of you out here on the road, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. I've sat across the table with a few of you that hated my guts, and we still had a good dinner and had a better understanding of each other at the end of that dinner. RGB is here. Hey, thanks for being here. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Ramon. Hopefully things are calming down and we'll be able to go back to it. Tuesday's kind of a mystery, and that's part of why I don't want to have that healthcare guy on this week, because I'll be getting empty around Tuesday at 11 or so. And, depending on what I book, how far I got a deadhead, what time I get loaded, it might interfere, but I'll still try to put a video out even if it's later that night. There's going to be some recorded content this week, probably on Monday and Wednesday, and you never know, I may can squeeze in a couple of more. You're welcome, Michael. Thank you for being here. If you guys weren't here, it'd just be me talking to myself, so I'm glad y'all are here. Travis Jones checking in from Kansas City. Well, thank you for being here, man. you're in the part of the country I'd like to run. I'd like to run over to Kansas and do the Midwest, but it always seems like I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time to get those loads. I'm also working with some brokers to set some stuff up in the future. And so maybe I can tell you all about that in the coming weeks as things develop. But yeah, things are going good. Freight rates still suck. Um, yeah, just all of that's going on, but I'm trying to stay positive and keep going. Thank you. I appreciate that, Ramon. Believe it or not, I miss you guys too. I like doing these shows. It's fun to catch up with you and see how all of you are doing and where you're at. And so yeah, I hate when I can't do one. And the thought crossed my mind about, especially on the Tuesday show, about doing it late at like 6 or 6:30 that week, so that at least we could get one out. But it didn't materialize. I was dealing with a lot of crud right then. You tell him, Trigger Todd. Oh, not much, Matthew. Just hanging out. Uh, Glad to be here again. In the first 6 or 7 minutes of the show, I kind of broke down my week. But if you guys got any questions about it, we can sure go to it again. I'm out in the middle of nowhere, so this may turn into a technical Tuesday on Sunday episode. Right now, the signal seems to be doing okay, but in the ramp up to the show, it kept cutting out and kicking me out. So just never know how these things are going to go. Tonight we're using T-Mobile. It seems to be working better than Verizon or AT&T. Not much, Brian. Glad you're here. Just melting away. I'm sure my face looks red. I've been out in the heat. I was filming a video today that had to be done outside, and my phone kept overheating and shutting off, and I had to use a phone mount outside. My phone mount kept falling off and hitting the ground. It's a miracle I didn't bust my phone or break something, but got it done. That video will be coming out tomorrow. Been here at Rosedale for 3 weeks still, besides the normal. Everything is great here. Well, good deal. That's great. I probably need to talk about this a little bit too, because it's come up every once in a while. I'll have a concern or a complaint or something like that about where I'm working, and I wanna clarify some things. I do really really like it here. Um, the owner's a great guy. I like his family. I didn't get to see his family this trip. Um, they were doing some things and it just didn't work out. But you know, no matter who you're with, what company you're working with, sometimes you're going to have some constructive criticism. And that's all I view this as. And sometimes they're going to have some constructive criticism of me. It doesn't mean I don't like it here. It doesn't mean that I'm planning to quit or nothing like that. It just means that sometimes, on rare instances, because this is the best trucking job I've had, I wish this was different or that was different. Um, for example, rates. I've been very critical of rates and brokers. That's not the owner of this company's fault. I don't blame him for any of those things. But I'd be lying to you if I said, "Oh yeah, rates are great. I'm getting $3 a mile on every load." Now my next one is right around $3 a mile, so I do get some of those. But yeah, I just want you guys to keep that in mind. I do have a pretty good deal here. Now, the reason I'm saying that is part of the video I shot today that's coming out on Wednesday is I show the old trailer that I've had all this time, and you guys know I've had some problems with it. Now it's a great trailer, but I did go through a spell where it gave me a few issues, had 3 blowouts, or well, we've replaced 3 tires. We've had some lighting issues. We've had some braking issues, but now the trailer's great. I like the trailer a lot. And this new, or not new, this newer one that he's going to give me is a 2019. I got to briefly look at it. Not great, but briefly look at it. And there's some things that I wasn't too fond of and some things that I was fond of. He did give me an option to get a different one. I said, no, no, I'll go ahead and take it. One of the things was it didn't have skirts on it. And initially I thought I wanted skirts. Now I realize I'm okay with or without skirts. It is a 2019, so it's 5 years newer than uh, than the one that I'm currently pulling, and it aesthetically is more easy on the eyes. It's a better looking trailer, in my opinion. Um, he did give the nicer one of the two to the guy that was going through orientation right now, and that's okay. There's no hard feelings there. But yeah, I'm grateful to get the newer trailer, and especially with there being a blitz coming up in August. And so, if you see that video and I say something critical of the newer one, it doesn't mean I don't like the trailer. It doesn't mean I'm not grateful to get it. It just means sometimes I'm naturally honest without a filter, and so that's what I would say about that. It's comfortable here. I'm picking up in the morning. Well, there you go. Me too. So what's happening with me is I'm delivering here. The owner's meeting me here because the place for my next load picks up right across the street, and it's kind of a hot load. So he's going to pick it up for me. So when I pull out of here, the plan is we'll swap trailers. He'll take mine because he's planning on turning it back into the rental company, and I'll take his, and away I'll go. I wanted to get here tonight um, so that I could, get a running start in the morning. Uh, there, there, there was the opportunity that I could have stayed in town and possibly got a 34 in, but I like to be at the places the night before so that if I wake up in the morning, for example, when I was coming over here across Interstate 10 at exit 2, they had the interstate shut down on Saturday for a fire. And if there's always traffic accidents and crap going on through there. And so I like to get past all that, be as close to the place as I can so that, if that stuff happens at 6 or 7 in the morning, I'm already here and hopefully it's cleared up by the time I get out of here. And, you know, I could have stayed in town, got a 34, reset my 70, but I had just left the house in Lubbock. So, I still have 50 something hours left right now. And, so I like to be here. I like to be prepared because had I done that, had I left at 6 in the morning, 2 hours before my appointment, and drove over here, and the road would have been closed, then the topic would have switched to, well, if you'd have left last night, this wouldn't have happened. So I've experienced that with other companies, and I know that's going to be strange to some of you, but that's why I do things the way I do sometimes. It's to cover myself because to be a truck driver, you also have to have a crystal ball and be able to predict the future and all of that stuff. And since I don't have a crystal ball and can't predict the future, then I have to try to protect myself as best I can. In Kentucky and in Ohio, it's been in the 80s. Very new weather. Oh, that is nice. We've been having heat advisories here in the southeast where I'm at and over in Lubbock where I was at for over a week now. It's been super, super hot. And like I said, I think if you look at my face, you can see how red I am. We almost went to the lake today, me and Tim and the owner. And man, if I'd have done that, I would have baked. I'd have looked like a lobster. And I don't do well in the heat. I just wanted to get somewhere and get parked and kind of take it easy. I've had a stressful couple of weeks, and so this morning they went to church. I should have went with them. I stayed in the hotel room and just turned everything off and laid there in the peace and quiet and tried to unwind and relax. And so I would have loved to have gone to church because out here on the road I don't get to go very often, so I end up having to listen to it on the radio a lot. And definitely the next time I'm in the area, I'll try to go to church with them if possible. Hopefully there's no hard feelings or nothing, but Yeah, that I know that I probably disappointed some people by not going today. Brian says nice. Yeah, Midwest Freight has been steady. I need to go somewhere where it's steady. It's steady, steadily low paying. Did 2,700 miles this past week. Well, that's not bad in this market. If you can get above 2,500, you're doing good. But I've got to where I don't even look at miles as much anymore as I look at weekly revenue. And, in my mind, I've got a number for bare minimum. And in my mind, I've got where I'd like to be. And then anything above that, shooting for the stars. Evening, folks. Start my new job next week. Well, tell us more, Michael. Where are you going and what are you going to be doing? Yes, sir. It sure is. And it's going up quickly. Seems like about 7 or 8 cents a day here lately. One thing that doesn't seem to be going up is rates. And I've mentioned this to a couple of people, even a broker that agreed with me. We were kind of laughing and talking on the phone, and it was one that, well, I got kind of coached on it because they didn't like an email I sent him, but he and I laughed it off. He was cool with it. He knew what I was trying to say. And, but anyway, we were talking about it, and it's really difficult to think of anything in the past year that hasn't got more expensive except rates. Rates have gone down, but everything's got more expensive. And I don't care what you say, somebody's profiting because uh, if everything's going up, but our rates aren't going up, somebody's making a lot of money. And before this video, I would have thought it's the brokers, but that broker, that same one that I was laughing and joking on the phone with, he was telling me he has this one run he does. He gets about 12 loads, or the shipper that he gets the load from, they have about 12 a week. He gets 40% of them. And he said he would love to go up on his rate, but he said that he's got a broker that he competes against that that they'll lowball him because they're just needing it for a backhaul. They don't really care what the rate is. And so the same thing that's happening to us drivers, you've heard me say it in other videos, where I'll bid 2,800 on a load, and instead of somebody bidding 2,700, they'll bid 12 or 1,300 and cut me in half. And the same things are happening to the brokers. They'll put in a reasonable bid, and then another broker will come in and cut them in half. And so in a lot of ways, the brokers are experiencing the same thing we are. Now, I know some of you, your blood's boiling right now. I'm not defending brokers or nothing like that, but I'm saying there's enough blame to go around, and sometimes there's not always a good guy and a bad guy, and a hero and a villain, and a victim and a abuser. Sometimes both sides are getting screwed, and I think maybe the shippers are sticking it to the brokers and the drivers. But I got a different perspective talking to him this week. On Friday, 1 a.m., checked the fuel at MD Flats was $3.99. I got to the place at 2:45 a.m. There's that 7 cents a gallon I was talking about. And the company I'm working for, he used the NASTC fuel card, and it will show you what they predict that fuel is going to be the next day at the truck stop, if they predict it's going up or going down. And so that is a big help. That's something that my fuel card doesn't offer, but it is nice to know. You can get on there and look and go, man, if I can wait till after midnight, it goes down a nickel. Or if I can fuel before midnight, I can save 7 cents or whatever, as in the case like Ramon was talking about here. So I've got my things I like and don't like about NASTC, but that part is really cool. Hey, Shane Lee, thank you for being here tonight. I was in Colorado last week. There was loads on the DAT that were posted at 25 cents gross. I ended up deadheading to Salina, Kansas to reload. I won't take any of those loads that are ridiculous. Yeah, it's I was talking about that, and people said, "Oh, Todd, you're exaggerating. There's no 25 cent a mile loads." There sure is. And I just wonder, I wonder what the brokers tell the shipper when the shipper says, "Well, we're going to pay 50 cents a mile." Does the broker be honest with them, tell them, "Well, you can pay that, nobody's going to haul it"? Or does the broker say, "Yeah, we've got some idiot truck driver that doesn't know his numbers, and he'll probably pull it for 25 cents a mile"? I was joking with Tim over the weekend. There was a load he really wanted, and we ended up not being able to do it because it turned out to be a reefer load. But I was joking with him that I was going to underbid him. I was going to bid 75 cents a mile on the load. And he got a good laugh out of that because he knew that I wouldn't pull it for 75 cents. But I was just teasing him that I was going to underbid him. Hey, Red Raider Reloading, glad you made it in tonight. Or you're not working tonight, are you? I'm at the TA truck stop. Fuel is $4.50 a gallon. Wow. Wow. Um, I'm planning on fueling tomorrow with my discount. I don't have it in front of me right now, but I believe it was around $3.77 a gallon at the TA in Mobile, Alabama. Not Mobile. Where was it? Anyway, somewhere in Alabama tomorrow. Maybe if Tim's here, he'll remember where we said we was going to fuel. Maybe it was Mobile, Alabama. Anyway, there's somewhere tomorrow I'm fueling at a TA, and it's like $3.77 a gallon. I'll trip plan all that in the morning, look, see if there's any changes. And I finally got some money on my fuel card, so I'll compare the two and try to get the best deal I can. Fuel contracts end at midnight. Price changes every day. Yes, that's true. But the NASTIC app, somehow they find out a little earlier, and about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you can get on their app, and it'll tell you when what they anticipate the fuel being the next day. Tom Bell says, "Are you lost? Isn't Tuesday or Thursday?" Yeah. So actually, both is true. I'm lost as a baseball in a wheat field, and you are correct. It's not Tuesday or Thursday. I had some really disgruntled drivers that I didn't do a show on Tuesday or Thursday, and so this is my apology and my makeup video. Earlier, if you watch the first 6 minutes of the video, first 7 minutes, something like that, I kind of tell you about my week and why I felt like I owed you guys a makeup video tonight. I also recorded a video that's coming out tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Time. And then I've got another one that's slated to come out Wednesday if I can get the editing and everything finished on it. I'm delivering here at this place in the morning. And then the owner's bringing me another load that it's a pretty hot load running up to West Virginia. And so if I got time, I'll finish editing that Wednesday video and try to get it out. If not, it may be on Friday. And then we're going to try to do the Tuesday and Thursday show. I've got a guy that really wants to come on and talk health insurance with you guys. We did a survey, and I think it was like 77% said they'd be interested in something like that. So we're going to bring him on, ask him questions. Those of you that are interested, I'll get you guys in contact. And then we're going to bring him back a couple weeks later for follow-up questions and kind of see how it goes. But I'd like to do him a week from Tuesday and not this Tuesday, just because so much stuff's up in the air right now. One thing about it, and I got asked this question when I was at DART and I was making all that money. They said, "What are you going to do when rates aren't this good?" I said, "I'm going to work harder." Back then, I was taking a lot of time off, doing a lot of things like that. And that's what I'm doing. I'm working, folks. And I mean, when I went to Lubbock, I was on recaps. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm working, trying to be as efficient as I can. And so sometimes that's going to interfere with videos and stuff. But I appreciate everybody's loyalty, and I try to do them as much as I can. As long as the broker can get it covered, they are happy. Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's some drivers that way too, and that's part of the problem. There's guys out here that As long as they can get 3,000 miles a week, they don't care if they turn a profit or not. And that's part of the problem. I wish we could get away from worrying about how many miles we run a week, and we could get to a target revenue per week, because that's what we need to all be focusing on. When you're just focusing on, oh, I got to get 3,000 miles a week, got to get 3,500 miles a week. Some of these guys are taking big long runs for 80 cents a mile or $1 a mile, and they're losing their tail. And the brokers are going, well, we can't go up on the rate. We have guys hauling it for this all the time. And it makes it real hard to negotiate when they do stuff like that. I also heard Cassius King say something really wise in the past week. He was talking about, now's the time to tighten your belt. And if you've got some, you know, Netflix subscriptions or stuff you hadn't been using, maybe you want to cancel them right now and try to save that money. If you got a $200 a month cable package at the house and you're never home, maybe you want to cancel that right now. Maybe if you've got a spouse at home that's not working, like mine wasn't, maybe they need to get a part-time job until things get better. You guys know my wife started a job about a week and a half ago, and she didn't really want to, but she was trying to help out. Things are a little tight right now, but we are climbing out slowly but surely. Been getting a lot of rain in Georgia and in Florida this week. Yeah, that would be, man, I would love some rain here. It's freaking hot. Tom says, here's something bad. There's nothing indicating that we are at the bottom of the market, or that this may be the new normal. Capacity isn't falling significantly. Yep, that's true. It's there's not a lot of good news out there. It does seem, I have heard some indicators that make me a little more optimistic. For example, Swift is, some of their drivers are telling me that they're, sorry, I gotta clear this off. I forgot to mute it. There we go. So some of the Swift drivers and some of the stuff I've been hearing, they said they're starting to get some of their freight back, and so that's a good indicator when the mega carriers are starting to get it back. I'm seeing a little bit more on the load boards. I'm still not seeing the rates I want to see or anywhere close to it, but I mean, I'm a naturally optimistic person, so I believe at some point it's going to get better. I don't pretend to know when, but we just got to keep plugging away. And you guys have got to quit taking this bottom of the barrel freight. You're not only hurting yourself, but you're hurting everybody else too. Hey, Todd, can you average 2,500 miles a week when you're with Swift? I did when I was there, but that was a few months ago. For a while, they were telling owner operators they were getting about 2,000 miles a week, and it was really tough to make it. Now they're saying it's starting to come up again. So I think 23 to 25 would be pretty realistic right now. And so, like I said, I'm not there right now. I get a lot of my information from drivers, from people that work there still. And, you know how that goes. You know how drivers are. Some run harder than others. And so you kind of have to think the truth is somewhere there in the middle. Prime has reduced their fleet by 430 trucks. Drivers there are still suffering. Yeah, I think drivers everywhere are still suffering. It's bad right now. I'm not going to candy coat it. I'm not going to tell you it's not bad. I think I've got an advantage being at a smaller company like I am. I think experience comes in. I think running a lean operation helps a lot too. And unfortunately, I've got way too much debt. That's working against me. I've got a truck payment. Whereas if I still had that Volvo that was paid off, I would be in a lot better shape than I am right now. But let's not forget though that this is every business since the beginning of time tries to run their operation a little leaner and cut costs. I remember, and I'm gonna take that off so y'all can see my website and everything. I remember when I was at Roadrunner and some big YouTubers I had big debates with. They're like, Roadrunner's going out of business. This is the end of Roadrunner. It's over. You guys should quit. And Roadrunner's doing fine now. And I kept telling them I knew Roadrunner was going to be fine because I listened to the president at the time. He's not there anymore. A guy named Frank Hurst. And he was talking about becoming an asset light business. And so basically, he was talking about what I'm talking about with you right now, reducing his overhead, getting his costs down. Then he came in kind of with a 1-2 punch, and he upgraded some of the warehouses with technology that made them able to deliver their LTL freight in a more efficient fashion. And just by his leadership and the way he was doing things, I knew Roadrunner was going to be fine. And people said, oh, but Roadrunner's selling all these companies. He said they were going to do that. He said, hey, we're going to sell off some of this stuff. We're going to become lean and mean. He even put a video on YouTube about it. And several YouTubers, oh, no, this is it. Trucker Todd's stupid for working there. And now they're just fine. You don't hear anybody saying Roadrunner's going out of business. And so, that's something that we're all going to have to do. And quite honestly, when the rates do come up, whether it's in a couple of months or in a couple of years, we need to kind of still stay lean and save money and put things back, because trucking goes in cycles, and we could debate how long those cycles are. But there's good times and bad times, and in the good times, you need to be saving so that when the times are bad, you've got money to survive. And the only thing that I'm guilty of in this deal is, when times were good, I spent way more money than I should. But B, when times started to go down is when I had that accident. And that was kind of the 1-2 punch that put me against the ropes. And quite honestly, I'm still recovering from that. But some of you are going to be just fine. This is not the time to go to SFI and get a $1,500 a week truck payment, though. This is the time, if you've got the money, to buy a cheaper truck, $25,000, $30,000, and run that. You could make some good money if you could pay cash for it. But truck prices are starting to come down slowly, and I think things are going to get better. But I've been saying that for 6 months. I just can't tell you when. Okay, let's jump back in. Going home next weekend. Wife asked me to bring some of this rain home with me in Louisiana. There you go. Well, I caught some rain when I was going through there. They don't have a choice but to take that bottom of the barrel freight. They have truck payments to make stuck between a cheap load, a deadhead, or sitting. That's actually not true. And I put a video up on a community post. Y'all go check it out. There's a channel called Trucking Made Successful, and she actually did a video. There was a load paying 80 something cents a mile out of Washington, and she did a video of if it was cheaper to pull that load, because at least you're getting some rate, or if it was cheaper to bobtail the same distance somewhere else to a better market. And she found out that because of the fuel economy between the two loads, it was actually cheaper to not pull a load than it was to pull that heavy load for 80 something cents a mile. Now, I know that goes against logic because you go, oh, but this is revenue. But especially when you're in a 70-30 split or an 80-20 split, you're better off sitting or relocating to a better market. And, we hear this same thing in political realms. It's either an all or nothing. Well, I've either got to pull this load or sit here. No, you don't. There's a third option, and that's relocating to a better area. And sometimes it's worth a 300 to 500 mile deadhead to get yourself set up in a better area. I took a load from Montana to Pittsburgh for $1.58 a mile to get out of a bad area and to get into a better area. I still made money on that $1.58 a mile, but it's not something I'd want to do all the time. Now, here we agree. It is a fantastic time to be a company driver if you're with a company that's doing well. Um, and I've got a few guys that are. Um, you'll never hear me try to talk anybody into doing a lease purchase or becoming an owner operator. Matter of fact, I think 2/3 of the drivers out here should be a company driver. But there's some people that like the challenge. They're willing to take the risk, and for those people, I say go for it. But there's a few times I've been a company driver and really enjoyed it. There's a company I worked for in Lubbock, and Red Raider Reloading will know who I'm talking about. That I worked for them for a few years and made really good money and was really happy there. So I'll never discourage anybody from being a company driver. I'm going to the orientation Tuesday for the company I'll lease my truck onto. We'll send you an update once I start. Oh, okay, running I-35 East. There you go. I just found out Swift has made some new rules. The driver can't bring their trucks home and no more idling. They're cutting back on deadhead miles. I'm going to assume you're talking about for company drivers. Ah, Red Raider Reloading is here. I was just talking about you. Please don't say the name of the company that I worked at in Lubbock, but you know who I'm talking about. Do you think that you will be able to do any videos about the accident, not the cause and blame, but what steps to take immediately afterward and information like that? Yeah, sure. If you want a video like that, I can do one. The reason that video is hard to do, because the number one thing you want to do is you want to follow your company's policy and follow their guidelines. But I can give you some general information. And honestly, I think we're getting near the time where I can talk about the accident and tell you what I believe is my perspective on it. You got to understand, when I do that, I'm opening a hornet's nest, and there's going to be a lot of bad things happen when I do that. But I've been having to stay silent while people have made stuff up and said negative things about me. And it is something that I really want to talk about when the time is right. And I think that time is coming probably pretty soon. But yeah, I can do a general video like that. Let's see here. Where are we at? If I had a job OTR and they wouldn't let me take my truck home, I think I would tell them where to get off at. Yeah, especially, well, depending on how far the terminal is from your house. Like when I worked from Robert Heath, if they said leave the truck at the terminal, that's no problem. It was 2 miles from my house. But if they said, if they said, no, you got to leave it at our Dallas terminal, and it was 350 miles from my house, I'd say, no, thank you. When I was at Western Flyer, and man, that's who I should do some videos about. It was 2015, 2016, so they've probably changed some stuff. But they told me, oh, yeah, pull a reefer. You'll be in Lubbock all the time. Well, when I got on reefer, they was like, no, the nearest drop yard is Amarillo, and we can't let you drop a reefer trailer there. So you have to sit there with the load until another driver picks it up. And so I'd end up spending 24 hours, sometimes 36 hours in Amarillo waiting for another reefer driver to show up to repower my load. And then I'd get to Lubbock and I'd see a ton of dry vans there and in plain view. And it was just they was looking for reefer drivers, when I'd have probably been home 100 times more if I'd have just pulled a dry van for them. Okay, what else we got? Shane Lee said, I just left Swift as I know of the account I'm with, which is Costco dedicated account. They allowed the driver to take the truck home, and those drivers always idle their truck the whole night and day. Well, there you go. I know they lost their Costco account in Owatonna, Minnesota. I think Schneider took it over, or is supposed to, in September. So hopefully they've still got the one that you were on. I saw a Trucking Made Successful's math video on that. The problem is that the comparison was not apples to apples. The deadhead was $350 less because the driver was going to home time. Okay, but even so, even if that's true, you save $200 to go 350 miles, and you don't put the wear and tear on your truck of that 45,000 pound load. See, it's not just the revenue, it's the wear and tear on your truck. I'll give you another example. If that same load was, instead of 45,000, if it was 20,000, then maybe your argument makes sense, because the fuel economy comes up, the wear and tear on your truck goes down, things like that. Shane, they just changed the rule on Friday. Oh, well, that's good then if they changed the rule. Hey, looky here, my good friend Red Raider Reloading. Good grief, my tongue ain't working. Just did the $20. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. Just a little token so you can enjoy a $20 chicken nugget. Yeah, that's about what they're starting to cost. Man, it is incredible what, everybody, I can remember when I say when I was poor, I'm back to being poor now, but I can remember when everybody went to eat at McDonald's and Taco Bell because it was cheap. Does anybody remember the dollar menu and the dollar soft drink? All those things are long gone. You want a McDouble now, it's like $2.50 something. And so yeah, it's crazy how everything is going up right now. Yes, that's for company drivers. There you go. And I've said this in other videos. If I was a company driver, I still wouldn't idle my truck any more than I have to. Now, I wouldn't lay there and sweat and suffer at night. But if it had an APU or an EPU or Opti idle or something like that, I would use it and try to save the company money as much as I could. Even right now, it's so hot here that the APU doesn't have it super cool in here, but it's tolerable. So I'm running the APU while I'm talking to you guys tonight. I got the curtains closed because it helps with the heat. Yeah, chicken nuggets. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it, though. You're awesome. Professional Travelers here. How's it going, everyone? We're doing good. We're all over the country tonight. Some of us are baking in the heat, and some of us are enjoying the nice weather. And I'm honestly surprised there's this many of you here on a Sunday night. I wasn't expecting anybody to be here, but I really felt guilty. Some of you were legitimately upset. Some of you were teasing me, but I didn't mean to make anybody mad. I just, if my grandson's in the hospital, that's going to take priority. If my wife needs picked up at work, that's going to take priority. And and then I ended up having to run to my son's shop after that and work on a vehicle. We're back to 2 vehicles now, so that's good. 2 of them are going to have to go under the knife beyond my capabilities. And so I'm probably going to sell the Corvette and the cop car pretty soon, maybe in a month or so. I know some of you have asked about that. Just getting rid of some of that overhead. Well, that's true about Robert Heath. If I lived in a town and worked out of Lubbock, I could understand that. Yeah, exactly. And it really makes me sad that Robert Heath isn't around no more. They sold out to SOAR, and SOAR didn't keep that terminal in Lubbock. But yeah, I guess nothing lasts forever. And Red Raider Reloading, I mean, he leaves his truck at his terminal when he goes home. But again, same thing. It's probably 5 or 10 miles from his house. It's probably convenient for him to leave the truck at the terminal. And even if they told him he could take it home, he'd probably still want to leave it there. The company I worked for that did business with the company he's at, Uh, they uh, they preferred us to leave it at the terminal because they'd do services and stuff on it while we was off, and I was home every other day. But if you needed to take it home, it wasn't a big deal. The owner of the company I worked for in Lubbock, his name was Michael, and he was about one of the coolest guys you could ever deal with as a company driver. I don't think you should talk about the cause, but more about what steps to take afterwards. Yeah, for sure I can do that video very quickly, very quickly. But I feel like I need to address the cause too, because there were some pictures that were put out, and some of them weren't even of my truck. Some of them were of my truck, and I don't know who took the pictures. They weren't the pictures I took. And if you looked at those pictures, you got a perspective that's not necessarily based in fact or truth. And as the story develops, I'm learning more and more. And so I'm going to get to a point, hopefully really soon, where I can talk about it. But just the general steps to take after an accident. I mean, a lot of orientations cover it, so I feel pretty comfortable doing a video about that. It's not just checking on people, calling 911. There's towing, hotel. Oh yeah. Well, and I didn't even mention any of those things, but typically your company has a procedure. They want you to call the police first. They want you to call the company second. They want you to get out, check on people. They don't want you to admit fault. Obviously, if the vehicles are able to be moved out of the roadway off to the shoulder or something, they want you to do that. They want you to get insurance information, pictures of driver's licenses if you can get it, things like that. Uh, Most of the time, they don't want you to take pictures of fatalities if there's any fatalities. But I mean, towing, things like that, I can talk about that. It's no problem. On my accident, and I can cover it more in the video, I was about 40 miles away from my sister's house. So one of her daughters, one of my nieces, come and picked me up, and I went and did my drug test. Actually, the tow truck company dropped me off at the drug test place. I walked across the street, ate barbecue, and then my niece picked me up from the barbecue place. And then I went back to my sister's house. My wife drove up and picked me up, and we went and emptied the truck. I knew when I saw it, it was totaled, so we just went ahead and emptied the truck. And then my wife took me to Lubbock. But, if it had happened in Nebraska or Idaho or something, I'd have probably had to rent a car and drive back to Texas. But yeah, I think you're right, Tom. I think that makes a great video, and I can sure do that for you. Who knows? I may can get it out by Friday or first part of next week, but it just depends how my week goes. I like this name, Abandoned P Jug. Hello, everyone. Hey, Abandoned, thanks for being here. Going back, going back to being a box jockey. Well, there you go. I don't know. A guy I used to go to church with in Lubbock was a yard jockey, and he used to always try to talk me into going over there and doing that with him at the company he was at. Uh, I just think after a while it'd get monotonous. My first 4.5 years for driving, I had a dedicated run with Swift, and man, I could have done that run blindfolded. And I can just imagine, you know, 200 dropping hooks a day or however many you do. I don't know if I would enjoy it or not. But, if I had something going on at home where I needed to be there every day, then it might be something I'd take a look at. In Lubbock, Schneider has a deal pulling CHEP pallets. And I tried for years to get on that account, and it fills up as soon as there's an opening, but it pays decent, and you're right there in Lubbock. They don't advertise it or nothing, really. It's kind of hard to find out when there's an opening. Now that I've bought a truck, that's not something I could realistically look at. But back when I would consider being a company driver, that was the cat's meow. I would have liked to have done that. 59 out here in Washington State. Clarence, that's bragging, man. You're a lucky dog. I wish I was up there right now. Swift has been a good company to me. Yeah, Swift was really good to me too. And you notice I don't come on here and talk a lot of crap about them. I had bought that Volvo, and that Volvo was sitting in storage, and I was paying for it to sit in storage. And I thought, why am I paying, 676 a week for a truck when I've got a perfectly good truck sitting in storage? And at the time, it was a perfectly good truck. I'd spent over a month investing money in it, fixing it up. I replaced 2 tires. I'd done quite a bit of work to it. And you guys know, ever since I left Dart, which was the one right before Swift, I had always wanted to be back on the spot market. And so it was the culmination of all the stars lining up and everything. And I had the chance to run the spot market over at F2F and drive my own truck with no payments. And I remember at the time, James, trucking with the Fly Rabbit, he's in here sometimes. I remember he was telling me, Todd, trade that truck in, get you a new one. And I was like, James, I don't want the payment. Even if this truck lasts 3 months, I want to drive this truck as long as it lasts, because I'm driving it with no payments. Then I'll sell it for scrap, and then I'll go put a down payment on a truck. And of course, the accident screwed up all the plans. And in hindsight now, maybe James was right. Maybe I should have traded that truck and got a new one. And as I said, when I tell you more, I think you'll understand why. Um, well, I'm going to give you guys a hint. Mechanical. And that's all I can say about the Volvo. But at some point, I'm going to give you more information. Just remember I said that word. Yes, Clarence, I still have the travel trailer and still like it. If the market ever recovers, I'm going to buy a house. But the original plan, we bought that camper 3 years ago. September will be 3 years. And the goal was always from day one, we moved out of a house into it. We wanted to downsize because I knew I was coming back on the road. And the goal was always to live in it 2 years and get a house. Well, I'm out on the road now quite a bit. Now at Swift, you could argue I wasn't as much, but now I'm working, 26, 28 days a month. And so it doesn't make sense to have something that I'm not there to mow the yard, not there to take care of. And when I go home, it's easy to manage. My wife's there a lot, but being there by herself, or most of the time by herself, she's enjoying it. We'd both like to have a house at some point. We'd like to get a 3-bedroom, have 1 bedroom for us, 1 bedroom for guests, and 1 bedroom that's like a game room / studio for when I'm in town. And so at some point we'll do that. But right now, and she'll tell you the same thing, we both enjoy that travel trailer a lot. And so we're just kind of enjoying life. If we go somewhere, instead of staying in a hotel when my pickup's running, which it's not right now, we can just take it. We've got all our stuff with us. We don't have to worry about leaving something in a hotel room. We don't have to worry about how clean the hotel room is. A lot of people don't know this. At one point in my wife's life, she was a maid at a hotel, and she saw some nasty stuff that makes her a little leery about hotels sometimes. Now, I'm not talking about the one I stayed in last night. It was very nice. Nothing wrong with it. But just generally speaking, you never know when you stay at a hotel. And it's kind of nice to have. Neither one of us thought we would enjoy it as much as we do. And recently, her twins came to visit us. We had plenty of room for them and had a good visit with them. So right now at this juncture in our life, it's working well. But at some point, we probably will get a 3 or 4 bedroom house. I do very little idling because it eats away my fuel bonus. The minimum mile per gallon is 7.5. If I average 8 for the quarter, it can be a $1,500 bonus. Well, there you go. That's a good incentive to make an effort. And your deal, I think I can say this without getting Red Raider, without outing him. His deal is he picks up a loaded reefer trailer and takes it to a grocery store, and then he goes inside the store and they unload it. Then he gets back in his truck and goes to another store and eventually ends up back at the warehouse. So he doesn't have to idle a lot when he's at the stores. And I guess occasionally you have to sleep in your truck overnight, but not too often. They have a lot of day cabs there. So, yep, he's got a pretty good deal. It might be a little harder to achieve that on an OTR application, but shoot, I think y'all's trucks have APUs on them, don't they? When I was at Thermo King, they mentioned having an APU sitting in the back for you guys. Praying for you, man. Thanks, your crazy uncle. I appreciate that. I need all the prayers I can get right now, for sure. I take my company truck home. I leave the HVAC on, but I plug in the truck. That's awesome. Yeah, so you're one of the good guys then. I had an International when I worked at Roadrunner. My first truck, it only lasted a month, and then they had to upgrade me because that's the one that the engine went out on. But it had a shore power plug on it, and I never could find a plug-in for it. I went to Fleet Pride, I went to International. Like most of them I see, it's like an extension cord plug-in, but this one had like a weird plug-in, and I was never able to use it because I couldn't find a plug-in for it. I wish I could describe it. It looked kind of like an extension cord one, but one of them was twisted sideways, and everywhere I went, they's like, I've never seen anything like that before. How are things going with the company and pay? Haven't heard anything mentioned in a while. So I'm at about where I thought I'd be. I was looking earlier today, and I'm about $1,500 under the revenue goals I had set for myself uh, for the time that I've been here. I've been here just a hair over 2 months now. But you got to remember, I spent 8 days off getting that air leak fixed. I've had some mechanical issues, things like that. All in all, I'm happy. I'm doing about like I thought I would. As far as the company itself, um, the owner, you couldn't ask for a nicer guy. Do he and I agree on everything all the time? Absolutely not. Do I make him want to pull his hair out sometimes? I'm sure I do. But like I said, I had dinner with him last night, him and Tim, and we had a good time. He's a good guy, and I really like the way he runs his company for the most part. And I, I think I got the impression that he thought I might be looking for another job somewhere else. Nothing could be further from the truth. I'm not planning to leave here. I'm not currently entertaining any other offers. I've had my head to the grindstone. I've been working hard and keeping my head down and trying to survive this terrible, terrible economy. I'm in Dalton, Georgia. It's getting ready to pour down rain. Well, you're a lucky dog too, like the guy in Washington. I would give anything if it rained here right now. Cool things off. Swift has been a good company to me. I have worked 7 months there until I bought my own truck. If you can get into their dedicated account and work 6 days a week with a trainer, you can make six figures. Yeah. Here's the deal about training, and I've talked to a few trainers at Swift about this. You just have to keep in mind that you're putting a guy behind the wheel that has very, very little experience, and you're going to climb in the bunk and go to sleep. So if you're willing to, again, it's risk reward. If you're willing to take that risk for that reward, then go for it. But I believe I can make the same money without having to train. And to me, there's more to life than just money. when you're training, oftentimes it's difficult to go home. Sometimes you lose your student with companies if you go home, and you definitely give up your privacy. That student is not making that much money in a lot of cases. So I know, like my trainer, when I was going through training, granted, this was almost 27 years ago, he bought probably 3 or 4 of my meals a week. He'd say, "Hey, I want to take you to a nice restaurant as a reward for you driving good and driving hard this week." So you're going to make some extra money. You're going to spend some extra money. You're also going to have increased wear and tear on your truck, increased mileage. And the thing nobody ever talks about is if you get a bad student, they can impact you negatively as well. One trainer was telling me about a student that hit a curb and tore up a rim, and he had to pay for it. And one student had backed in and tore a door off a trailer, and it held him up for a long time. So it's it's a little bit of a risk and a little bit of a reward, and it's up to you to determine if it's worth it or not. I seen a motorcycle fatality in Abernathy on Friday. I was pretty shook up about it. The gentleman took the southbound curve too fast and lost control. Yeah, that I know the exact curve you're talking about. I used to work at that car lot there, uh, right before you get there, and they've got flashing lights and everything telling you it's a curve. And people, they have trucks that turn over there. They have wrecks there all the time because people don't take that corner seriously, and it's kind of deceiving how sharp it is. But yeah, that's that. Hang on, just I'll get your other comment and then I'll tell you guys a story. Parts of his body were on the northbound side of the road. It looked like a deer had been hit. Yeah, I when I worked for Swift, I saw an accident that it was a grandpa, a grandma, and their grandson. And the grandpa had been drinking and he had an accident and rolled the truck, and it decapitated the grandma right above the head. And I saw the accident and I stopped and tried to help. And there was brain matter everywhere. It was a bad accident. And I used to have nightmares about it. And when I went back over the road, my son rode on the truck with me for a while and I homeschooled him. And I used to scare the crap out of him because I'd wake up screaming in the middle of the night, having nightmares. And I never understood why that grandpa didn't let the grandson drive, because the grandson was sober, or let the grandma drive. But it was a terrible accident. The grandma died. And I, of course, because she was decapitated, I believe the grandfather died. The grandson lived. And I saw several like that right there where I-10 and I-20 come together in Texas. And so I know what you mean about it being kind of traumatic and hard not to think about. And I still think about it sometimes, but I don't have nightmares anymore about it. Just leave the backlight alone. You won't see all the bad stuff. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, my wife, from when she was a maid at a hotel, and actually she was a maid at a few hotels for a few years, she knows how to check for bed bugs. And I'll tell you how innocent I was. I always thought bed bugs was just a myth because you always heard, sleep well, don't let the bed bugs bite. But there's actually a thing called bed bugs. And so we go to a hotel, she rips the sheets back and looks and makes sure the room's clean before we put any of our stuff in there. The sleeper trucks have APUs. If I run out of time, they get me a hotel and cover my next run. And I get paid for it since it's a bid run. Wow. I didn't know that. That's really good. They used to, when I worked for that other company in Lubbock, people used to always compare, do you guys have it better or do we have it better? And in some ways, I thought I had it better than you guys do. But now that I hear some of your benefits and the way they do y'all over there, I'm not too sure you don't have it slightly better. You mentioned that accident has hurt you for job options. How long do you think that will be the case? It really depends on the company. For some companies, it can be 5 years. Definitely each year the impact goes down a little less. Um, a year from now, if I'm still at this company, that's gonna minimize that accident. After 3 years, it'll minimize it a lot more. I mean, some companies go 10 years. It's each company's different. Having your own truck kind of nullifies it a little bit. Having your own insurance helps. But yeah, it's because of PSP points and stuff. It's just hard to say. I did not receive any type of citation in that accident, so that does help. But I mean, it's an accident with towaways and two people transported to the hospital with very minor injuries. So it does show up on there as that. And but like I said, I hope we can talk about it soon. I think what I'm going to have to say about it's going to surprise a lot of people. And some of you, no matter what I say, you're going to think I'm full of crap, and that's okay too. My account was paying 59 cents per mile. I can run about 2,800 miles a week, and every month you get a performance bonus of 700. So you're looking at what, about 15, 1600 a week, and then a bonus. That's not terrible to be a company driver. The only thing I'd tell you, there's a lot of company driver jobs now that are paying, like 75, 80 cents a mile. So there's going to be some that are going to come in here and say you're a little underpaid. But like I always say, if you're happy doing what you're doing, then I'm happy for you. That doesn't sound like a terrible deal, though. Yes, those bugs are nasty. I can honestly say I've never seen one in person. I've never been in a hotel that had them. I went to a hotel one time that had roaches, and I asked for my money back, and they wouldn't give me my money back. And they offered me another room, and I was like, "No, if you got roaches in one room, you probably got them in all your rooms." I got to step away, Todd. Take care. We'll talk to you later. Prayers for you and the family. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you coming in. Yeah, seeing bad wrecks suck. I've seen too many. Yeah, there was a couple of times that this when I was with my first wife that I went home covered in blood because I would see the accident happen and I would get out and try to help. And it, I don't care what you say, it affects you when you see stuff like that. I had another one that it was a husband and wife. He was a doctor from Houston, and they were in a Ford Explorer, and he had just retired from being a doctor. They were pulling a camper, and they were going on their first vacation. I think they were going to Southern California to see their kids, and he came into that corner right there at the 1020 split in Texas. It used to be routed different than it is now, and he overcorrected and rolled it and killed his wife, and he freaked out. He Somebody told him, and I don't know why they did. They said, your wife's dead. I was trying to keep him calm. I was, lying to him. Your wife's going to be okay. Just try to stay calm until the ambulance gets here. A nurse had stopped. She was kind of trying to help his wife, and he started trying to run into traffic and kill himself. And I had to actually tackle him and hold him down in the ditch so he wouldn't kill himself. And the thing I remember most about that deal was the screams he was doing. He was screaming in pain, not from his accident, but from knowing that his wife, that he had spent the majority of his life with, he had killed. He kept saying, I killed my wife. I killed my wife. And finally, some other people helped me hold him down. I got up. I went and I got in his Ford Explorer, and he had a dog that was in the back seat that was in like a pet cage, and the dog was okay, just scared to death. And I took him the dog, and I was hoping that would like calm him down a little bit while they were working on his wife. And of course, he didn't care about the dog, but I felt so bad for that guy and so much pain and grieving so hard that I just wanted to find some way to help him out. And those two accidents that I've told you about tonight, there's very few days in my life that I don't think about them. And I wonder what happened to that guy. But he was suicidal. He was trying to run out onto 20 and get run over by a car because he felt like he had killed his wife. Does anybody know of a decent company out of eastern Oklahoma? I got to tell you, and you know, people are going to criticize what I'm about to say. That Oklahoma City terminal for Swift, there's an OOC there named Jimmy Tucker. If you can get him, you'll do good at Swift. He's a good guy. Now, if you're wanting to be a company driver, I don't know about Swift company side, but if you don't mind leasing a truck, that's the way to go. Hopefully, Eastern Oklahoma, some other people here will have some suggestions, though. We'll give them a few minutes and see what they say in the comments. Meantime, I'll take your comment down so everybody can see the website. If you're wanting to buy your own truck like I did, I got Avery's phone number down there. Give him a call. Tell him what you're looking for. He'll help you out. You don't have to have perfect credit. I got far from perfect credit, especially now, and they were able to help me. Also, as it says down there, think about subscribing. Think about giving me a thumbs up, sharing this video on your social media platforms, telling your friends about the channel. All of those things help as well. And they're all free to do. So I appreciate that. Earlier tonight, we had Red Raider Reloading give $20. That's not required, but it is greatly appreciated anytime you guys do that. Let me pull that off of there so that you guys can see the website again. Let's see, what else? I missed all the other stuff in the slider. We'll come back to it in a minute. I'm not fixated on your accident. Just being from Manage IMA procedure. Oh, no. I like that, Tom. You know, actually, Tom, that's one of the things I like about you. The same reason I like you is the same reason I like Tim. We don't agree on everything, but we're able to debate it respectfully. And so I like Tom because he doesn't get on here and go, "Oh, Todd, you're stupid." He just says, "I disagree with you, and here's why," and we can discuss it. So, no, I know at one point I thought Tom was a troll. I don't feel that way no more. He just is a very strong opinionated, as am I. And I agree with him after hearing what he had to say. I think it would make for a good video. And so I'll try to get one out along that subject. I'm always afraid I'll leave something out, but that's what the comments are for. If I miss something, maybe somebody can put it in the comments and help people out. So if you want to do flatbed, Melton is located in Tulsa. There you go. I don't know how you feel about flatbed, Channel 19. Channel 19 says he's working in the oil field right now. Genesis 2, hit and miss. I think everything's hit and miss right now. But I know where I live, that's what they always say. I can't tell you how many people have told me, go haul oil or haul milk. And sometimes it's tempting, but I got a pretty good deal right now. It'd be hard for me to leave it. But if he met me in the morning with the trailer and said, "Hey, after this run, we're done," then I might look at hauling milk or something like that. I'm working out in the oil and gas fields right now. It's just hit and miss. Yeah, I bet. Melton is located in, I thought I already read that. It showed it up twice. They're located in Tulsa. Good company if you're willing to do flatbed. Company drivers only. Hey, Craig, thanks for being here, man. Happy Sunday to you as well. I had a pretty bad accident. This woman wanted me to use voice record on my iPhone to record messages for her children and husband. She wound up being okay, but it was surreal. Yeah, there was another accident. We actually went to exit 129 and swapped trailers or trucks and trailers out there back then. And he wrecked like 2 miles on the other side of the road from where I was supposed to get off and rolled it. It was like I don't know what it was, like a Pathfinder or something like that. And I thought for sure he was dead. And I got out and ran over there to check on him. He got out. He was fine. He's walking around and everything. And so, but you just never know. Cameron, Louisiana, at the LNG refinery has about 40 ships full of oil just sitting in the water. Ain't that crazy? I'll do just about anything as long as it pays the bills. Flatbed would be okay. Yeah, Channel 19's young. He can still do that flatbed work. I'm fat and old and clumsy. If I did it, I'd get hurt. That's my problem now. My brain thinks I'm still about 24, 25. My body thinks I'm about 80. So I kind of have to negotiate between my brain and my body. All righty. We're going to let the comments scroll across, let everybody see the website. I'm doing a review video on that headset, that solar powered one that I like so much, that's coming out tomorrow. I have not added that information to the website yet for those of you that want to order it, but it is in that video coming out tomorrow. Y'all check it out. Let's see what else we got going on here. We're at almost the hour and a half mark, so if you guys don't have a whole lot, we'll wrap it up here pretty soon. But if y'all want to keep going, we can keep going. Give it just a few more minutes. Also, I guess I already mentioned the Trucker Todd email, todd@truckertodd.net. It's also going across the ticker now. Had some of you email me asking about the Kenworth with the pack car. It's been doing good, and I haven't had any APU issues since I got all that stuff done. Had an offer to work the oil fields. I was flattered, but I own my truck. Can't sell it because I bought it last year when prices were up. Now I owe more than I could sell it for. Just sold my car to reduce my debt and help out with the truck payment. Yeah, the thing about the oil field, I've always tried to avoid it because it seems like too many people lose fingers and arms and die. And so I've tried to avoid oil field. Also, now as a truck owner, it's really hard on your equipment. And so I'd be reluctant to do oil field. And third, I quite honestly don't know enough about it to know what areas of the oil field I'd want to work in, what areas I wouldn't. I've got a good friend that he's pretty high up in the oil field businesses. I could call him and probably get some direction if I ever wanted to go that route. But yeah, I just don't want to go down all those oil field roads and tear my truck up. Nope, not yet. We're getting close to that too. I think the owner and I discussed it a little more last night. I think he's warming up to being comfortable with me saying where I work, but I don't think he's quite there yet. He did make the comment that he could probably take on about 3 drivers right now. And so, if I met somebody and thought they'd be a good fit, I could pair them up kind of like I did him and Tim. But I'm trying to hold off on that for now. Well, I don't feel young anymore. I'm 44. I just look young. Wow, I would have never guessed 44. I was guessing early 30s. Everybody thinks I'm like in my 70s though, and I'm only 50. But it's been a hard life. Hey Todd, do you think we'll have a holiday freight surge this year, or another slow fall and winter. So it really is going to depend on consumer confidence, in my opinion. And what I mean by that is, we're going to have a lot of stuff happen between now and then. If people are optimistic about the future, then they'll buy and put stuff on credit cards for Christmas, and we'll have a decent one, I think. If people are scared and broke like they are right now, then it might be a lean one. But the problem with asking me that question is I'm just a naturally optimistic person. I don't wake up in the morning thinking, nah, the sky's gonna fall. I wake up thinking today's gotta be better than yesterday. And so from my standpoint, for a couple of months now, I've been saying it's gonna get better, it's gonna get better. And in my head it feels like it is getting slightly better. It's just not getting better as fast as I'd like it to. And so we'll see what happens. What's your take on it, Craig? Do you think it's going to be a good holiday this year? PACCAR extended their engine warranty. I went in for a coolant leak and was told it's a head gasket. PACCAR replaced the engine and covered the full cost. Yeah, that's something that people don't ever factor in, uh, and I'm guilty of it as much as anybody. People say, well, I've got a warranty. I bought a new truck. I've got a warranty. But they don't factor in the downtime. A lot of times, a brand new truck, and I know yours isn't brand new, Rose, but uh, a lot of times, a brand new truck, it's real hard to get parts for because all the parts are going to the assembly line. So sometimes you can wait weeks. I remember one time I broke down in the Northwest and they were saying 3 weeks to get parts. And they told me one guy there had been waiting 3 months. So even if you can afford the repair, uh, the big question becomes, can you afford the downtime, which a lot of times is more expensive than the repair itself. The ideal situation is if you're like the owner of the company I work for, he can fix just about anything on his truck himself. He's got the tools, he's got the knowledge, the know-how, and so he saves himself a ton in mechanical expenses just because he's got that knowledge. He did a repair the other day that he said had he gone to a shop it would have cost him $1,500, and he did it himself for like 150 or 250, something like that. Just a fraction of what it would have cost. And if you've got some mechanical know-how, um, you can save yourself a lot of downtime and a lot of money. And if you don't, and you're just semi-mechanically inclined, you can watch a YouTube video. Keep in mind there are many types of oil. Not all can be used. Yep, that's true. A lot of warehouses are still overstocked from COVID, from what I'm hearing. Yeah, yeah. And, recently I was talking to a guy that knew a lot about that. He said that where he's expecting the holiday season to be good because he said a lot of those warehouses are starting to get their stockpiles down a little bit and they're going to have to reorder. A few months ago was the problem was getting the stuff in the ports in Southern California. And I haven't heard about that lately to hear if that's still an issue or not. By the way, pardon my cough. I talk so much each day that I usually lose my voice and get a sore throat. Last night I was coughing a little, and Tim was worried I was sick, and he was asking me if I was contagious, and I said, "No, we're getting to the time of the day where I don't have any voice." I drink a lot of drinks here to try to keep my throat from drying out. I've got the same headset, I believe. Oh, you got it too. It was my understanding that headset, and I'm not wearing it right now. I got it right here beside me. I just put it in a video, and I hadn't put it back on because I have to sync it back into my laptop, and I didn't have time before the video went on. But it's my understanding from what they're telling me that they were just selling them business to business, and now they're wanting to branch out and sell them to the public. So if you've got the exact same one, I'd be surprised, but you never know. But yeah, these solar powered headsets are the way to go. Gary Cook says he's 51. Yeah, I think that's about the same as what Tim is. I'm 50. I'll turn 51 in December, and I can't believe it. I tell people all the time, I'd have took better care of myself if I'd have known I was going to live so long. I'm hoping it will. Even the ports have been slow being optimistic about it all. We got to be. Look, we could sit around, we could have a pity party, and I've been guilty of that. I've got frustrated, I've got down, but it doesn't improve our situation. We just got to acknowledge that it's bad and figure out how to survive it. And the good thing is, if we make it out the other side, we're going to be golden. And if we fail, it's a learning experience, and maybe the next time we'll be more successful. My situation's a little different. If I fail, I've got thousands of people that see me fall on my face. So it's a little more embarrassing, but it happens to the best of us. And if I do fail, I'm going to know that I did the best I could do and that I didn't leave any stone unturned. Channel 19 says he keeps up with the economy a lot. He thinks it's going to be a tough winter. We won't really see anything different until the third or fourth quarter of next year. The owner of the company that I work for, um, he feels a little more optimistic than that. He thinks right after Christmas, it's going to start picking up a little bit. He's pretty knowledgeable. He reads a lot of market reports and stuff. So, if we take the average of what both of you are saying, that puts us maybe late in the second quarter or something. But, it really, with it being a global market, I mean, there's really so many things that control what happens, what will happen, that nobody really knows. And I look for little signs of optimism, and like Craig does. And if it seems a little better this week than it was last week, then I'm optimistic. And if it seems a little worse than last week, then I go, well, maybe next week will be better. 2019 T680 turnaround was 1 week, which was outstanding. I also had the clutch replaced while the engine was out. Yeah, if they did an engine in a week, you hit the jackpot. I went to the shop in Lubbock for something. I don't remember what it was. And they were like, it's a week before we can even look at it. And so, yeah, if you got fixed in a week for an engine, you got to be really happy with that. And, a week downtime I could handle. But if it goes 3 or 4 weeks or a month or two, it's going to be tough. I've seen no signs that we are going to avoid recession. The price of everything is up. Well, everything but salary and wages. Yeah, it's like I said, there's still a lot. I'll tell you what makes me optimistic. We're coming up on a presidential election. And it really, and some of you are going to disagree with this, and that's okay. It really doesn't matter so much who wins at this point, unless it's a sweep and they get Congress and the White House. But the Democrats, for example, and I'm not going to get political, so everybody take a deep breath. They're going to try to improve things because they want to have a good voter turnout for the election. The Republicans are going to try to hinder things because it's things to talk about during the election. Now, after the election, whichever side that wins, I think they've got to fix things. So I think you're going to see some things improve in the coming months, regardless of how it goes. But this is why. I mean, even if it does turn around, the Republicans are going to say, yeah, but look at the last 3 years. And the Democrats are going to say, yeah, but look at now. And it's a shame that a lot of this is nothing more than politics on both sides. I saw you eating breakfast at the TA Denver Burger King last week. I didn't want to interrupt your meal because I know how much celebrities hate that. No, you should have came over and said hi. I didn't realize you were there. I was there. So yeah, I wish you would have come over and said hi. I'd have bought you a hamburger. What do you think about the yellow freight collapse? Um, you know it. I regret that I didn't follow that story a little closer. It in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it matters that much. But I know a lot of people had interest in it. I was surprised how many people had interest in it, and I wish I would have followed it a little closer. Um, it's if I was an investor at Yellow, I think I'd be really upset because there was a lot of terrible mismanagement that took place. And as far as the drivers, I hate they lost their job, but I think most of them are going to land on their feet. Um, I think most of their customers got out. They saw the writing on the wall. So hopefully there's not a lot of freight sitting in trailers somewhere in warehouses somewhere. But there is some at some places. The ships aren't stacked up off the coast. They now wait in a virtual line and stay out to sea. No, no, mine is not that. Mine is I don't have the box in front of me, but it's the Mod 1 or Modcom 1 Eco Pro. And man, I don't know if I can post the link. Let me see if I can so you guys can go check it out. It really is a great headset. If you use that uh, coupon code I got, you get 20% off, which saves you almost $50. Let me see if I can get that link for you guys real quick. That'll give you guys some time to post some comments as well. All right, I'm on the right email. Take just a second. I'm almost there. All right, here it is. Copy link address. And we'll go back to here. Post. Hang on just a second. Almost there. Even if you don't want to buy this headset, go to this website and you can check it out for yourselves. and I'll post it several times throughout the video. All right, I just put the link up. Y'all can go check out that headset. Thank you, Ted. I appreciate that. Give me a call sometime. I hadn't heard from you lately. The parties are two wigs of the same bird, the false dichotomy that keeps us divided while they rule. And that's true. One thing they say that I've never understood, and, you know, they'll say, well, what we think white female voters, white female suburban moms want this. Or they'll say, we've determined that black Americans want this, or white Americans want that. And I hate when they say stuff like that because basically, I don't think it matters what subgroup you put us in. We all want the same thing. We all want life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. We want to have a job we enjoy. We want to spend time with family that we love. And that's irregardless of, what race we are, what, uh, what religious background we are, Christian American, Muslim American. We all want the same thing. So I don't see why they feel like they have to divide us in all these categories. And I know you guys hate when I talk politics, so I'm not talking politics. I'm speaking generally about both parties. I had my dog with me when I saw you. Man, I wish you'd have come up and said hi. $1 billion of debt. There you, yeah, yeah. And speaking of debt, I wish I could run my budget the way the government runs their budget. I wish I could just keep accruing debt and I didn't really have to pay it back. And there's really the sky's the limit. Then I wouldn't stress out like I do. I've been following it closely because I almost went to work for Yellow. There should be some good freight shakeout because they were hauling stuff too cheap. Should help with the rates. Well, from what I understand, TQL got a bunch of their freight, and I'm not going to get on here and talk negatively about TQL. You guys can do that, but I will say that when I'm looking for high paying freight, it's usually not at TQL. My previous career was in print media, newspapers, and magazines. The advertising for Q4 should be picking up, but it is very slow, especially in the majors like Belk, Best Buy, Walmart, etc. Yeah, yep. It'll. Since COVID, we don't really know. It's so hard to predict anything. Everything's just weird. But I think people are tired of penny pinching, and I'm hoping everybody just splurges this year. No Fear is here. Hey, thanks for coming in. I did put that link down there. Uh, it changed it though. That's not right. Let me see if it'll let me edit it. Trucker Todd should be one word, all little letters. Let me see if it'll let me go back and fix it. No, because my signal stinks. So we're going to repost that comment. And I'll fix it. No, that's the wrong one for sure. Oh, technology, you got to love it. And my problem is spell check. It changes what I write. There's the correct one. I'll get caught up on your comments in a second when I fix all these errors here. So basically, what you do is you go in there and you add it to your cart, and then it'll have a coupon code spot. You put Trucker Todd in all little letters and hit apply, and it'll add your discount on there. I will do. I'll leave it around 2 a.m. I'll be asleep at 2 a.m. I'll be up probably around 6:30 or 7 in the morning, but I'll be delivering here, so it may be kind of a hit and miss getting a hold of me. 100% southbound. Yep, I agree about the two parties. Have you ever had to charge yours? I don't want to reveal where I bought it yet or price until after your review video. Um, so I've charged it twice, not because it needed it, but I just wanted to see how fast it did it and how well it did. Most of the time it stays at about 50 or 60%. Uh, Seems to do real well on natural light as well as sunlight. Like I said, I don't want to give too much away ahead of the video. Email me where you bought it, though. It sounds like your headset might be different than the one I'm using. Mine does have a different name. Modcom 1 Eco Pro is what this one is. And as far as I know, I'm the first person to review it. I tried to find other reviews on YouTube about it, and I didn't see any. Craig says they keep us divided so that we don't see what's really going on in DC. Yeah, that's true. There's a guy that I watch on YouTube. He does reaction videos. His name's OK Rick from the Houston area, and he's an African American male, and he does a real good job of filtering through all the BS out there, and presenting things in a way that he's just like I am about. It doesn't really matter what race you are or where you're from or if you're rich or poor. We all basically want the same things, and there's a lot bigger desire from all the races and all the religions to get along now than there's ever been at any other point in history. Now, is there still racism in the world? Yeah, there always will be. You're going to go in a classroom and a teacher's not going to remind or not going to like you because you remind her of a cousin she hates, or maybe she had a guy that broke up with her that looks like you, has blue eyes or blonde hair, and she doesn't like guys like that. Or maybe you're chunky and she likes skinny guys, or maybe she don't like the way you talk or your sense of humor or whatever. But there's always been teachers' pets. There's always going to be teachers' pets. But especially in trucking, I think trucking of all things, race doesn't matter. It's so performance based that if you can get out here and you can do your job safely, you're generally accepted. If you take a shower several times a week, I think that makes you even more accepted. If you're generally clean, and so I just think there's a lot more that we all have in common than we do differences, and so I don't get why the media especially likes to say, well, we found out suburban white moms want this. Well, I'll bet you that suburban moms probably want the same thing that big city moms want. I mean, they want to live in a nice house. They want to pay their bills on time. They want to see their family do well. Your crazy uncle is getting a good laugh tonight. That's good. Yep, I agree with you, sir. Yellow had $1 billion of debt. TQL, the quality lessons. Yeah, yep, something. I don't know if I would associate them with quality. Like I say, maybe one day I'll think differently, but here lately, I I haven't seen anything that impressed me about TQL. And there was some drivers that was boycotting them for a while. I hadn't heard nothing about that either. Their rates make me boycott them. No Fear says, "Hey everyone, hope everyone's doing well." Yeah, glad you're here, man. I'm in Oklahoma City going to California. I would love to go to California, and the company I'm with doesn't let us go out there. But man, I saw some good loads coming out of there, and I told him that, and I even gave him a couple examples. He said, "Yeah, but going into California, you're going to take a bath." I said, "Well, I'll take a load right to the Nevada border, and I'll deadhead for those kind of rates." But evidently, there's some stuff he's got to get and some hoops he's got to jump through that he just doesn't feel like it's worth it for a company his size. And it's his company; he can do what he wants. One major problem with Yellow is that the union wouldn't let them manage. They couldn't consolidate redundant terminals, not reduce capacity for market conditions. Yeah, I would make the argument that there was a time in American history, especially before the Industrial Revolution, where there was probably a big need for unions. And, you know, each year since then, the need for unions has gone down. And there's probably some instances where we still need unions, but for the most part, I think that they're more of a problem than a solution. And there's the corrected website I put up for you guys. Just click on that link there, tridentcomtech.com/MC1-EcoPro. If you can't click on it for whatever reason with your browser, you can copy and paste it after this video or whatever. Just don't forget to save your 20%, because $50 is $50. And I know technically it's $49.80. Still a pretty good discount. I'm proud. You know, it took me a couple extra weeks to negotiate that for you guys, but that was real important to me. Thank you. I need to get a new one. Well, I promise you it's a good one. You're going to like it. Yellow freight is already absorbed by the LTL carriers. LTL is another animal because it requires cross docking. Yeah, I did LTL for a little over a year with Roadrunner, and I actually enjoyed it. The only problem with it was where I lived. There was not any terminals nearby Lubbock, so it was kind of a pain in the butt to go home. A lot of times I had to deadhead a pretty good distance. But if I lived close to an LTL terminal like that, I'd be real tempted to do it. And there is some LTL terminals in Lubbock. I've just never gone there with my truck and tried to work for none of them. I had that to happen in school. I said, let me see that again. I've had that to happen in school. I said, well, I can be, well, I can be. Oh, you're talking about the teacher's pet. You know, I was the guy in school that the teachers loved to hate. I was the class clown, and I made everybody laugh, including the teachers. And but sometimes, you know, there's a time and place for everything. Sometimes while they're trying to teach algebra, it's not the best time for me to do stand-up comedy. And you know, the teachers, some of them now, I'm still in contact, the ones that are still alive, and they said, Todd, we still sit around and laugh about the things you said and done in class. And to me, that's a compliment. In hindsight, I wish I'd have done a little less of it, because some people were actually there trying to get an education, and me, I was just trying to have a good time. Yeah, I would have done that if I'd have been better prepared. I wasn't expecting to talk about the headset tonight, and so I didn't have it. I didn't have it linked up. Actually, where it'll end up is in the ticker, and I'll have it in the comments. But it'll be in future videos. I wasn't planning on talking about it tonight. That's the only reason I don't have it set up yet. Mine is a Blue Tiger Solaire. I've never charged it and never run out of power. I use it all day. Yeah, I'd never seen one before. This one's really good, though. I feel very confident recommending it. RL pays well. Yeah. So when I went to F2F, the very first load I did, I picked up a what they call a loadout trailer, and it was an R&L Carriers trailer. And basically, I had permission to use it for a week, and I hauled freight in that trailer for with R&L's trailer, and it was a good trailer. Super friendly at the warehouse too. No fear, getting him a good laugh in. So the truck's doing well. I'm a little disappointed in fuel economy. Most of the way over here, I was doing 65. I was getting like 8.7. My last IFTA report, I was getting somewhere around, I think, 7.5. I don't remember the exact number. I'm sure somebody will correct me. But keep in mind, during that time, I went over a week without the APU in super hot weather. And I was in a lot of hot climates where the APU and the truck were working really hard to cool the truck. Oh, good. Did it give you the discount as well? Uh, did you try the coupon code just to see? I mean, you're still not at a commitment level once you type in that coupon code. I want to make sure you get the discount if you decide to get it later. And if it doesn't work, I need to know so I can tell them, hey, Tom tried the discount code this way and it didn't work. But yeah, it's a really nice headset. I can't believe I like it. When they said, hey, we're going to send you one, we want your honest opinion, I was like, oh, this is going to be gimmicky. This is going to be junk. And it came in, it was boxed well. I had an unboxing video, and my Samsung Z Fold 4 crashed. The screen went out on it, so I couldn't retrieve that unboxing video I did. So I made kind of that introduction video, which wasn't some of my best work, but I was trying to get some information out about it. And this video coming out tomorrow is a little better, but it's still not what I was originally shooting for. Now, I want to remind guys, because I know guys have been coming in. We've been going almost 2 hours now. Probably not this Tuesday, but the following Tuesday, I'm going to have a guy on. He's going to talk about healthcare options for truck drivers. We want to hit it now because open enrollment's just a couple of months away. And then we'll bring him back in a couple of weeks after that for follow-up questions. So if you talk to your spouses and you got questions, you can ask him. Please, please, please be thinking up questions, things that you want to know, concerns that you have. Let's make this a good show. Let's ask this guy a lot of good questions. We appreciate guys like this coming on, and let's represent truck drivers in a good way, and hopefully no silly questions. Cheeseman is both LTL and freight load. However, most of our freight is one client, and that one has their names all over. Yeah, there you go. I've heard a lot of good things about that company too, and not just recently. Over the years, I can remember years ago people saying good things about Cheeseman. Hey, I like what your crazy uncle says. I wonder if that really is my crazy uncle. If it is, I'm disappointed because he's supposed to be celebrating his birthday. But yeah, you guys, please hit the like button. Please share this video out. Tell your friends. Have them come join us. Normally, it's Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. Central Time. Do all that fun stuff. I know you guys get tired of hearing me say it. It's part of the YouTube thing I have to do to make this channel grow. And I appreciate each and every one of you being here. And Man, who would have thought you guys would hang in here with 2 hours with me on a Sunday night? But I'm glad each and every one of you is here. And we can talk about whatever you want to, or we can wrap this up if y'all have had enough fun. When y'all get done, I'm going to cook some grilled chicken tonight. So I'm looking forward to that as well. I got the seasoning, I got the George Foreman grill. There's going to be a quality meal tonight. Let's see what else we got. Watkins Shepherd was LTL company until Schneider came in. You know, that's a company that you used to see everywhere, and I'd completely forgot about them. You're going to have to find the sweet spot for mile per hour to get the best mile per gallon. I get better. Yeah, I've found this truck does really well at around 65. I just been pulling some super heavy loads lately. This one's right around. I think this one's 43 or 45,000 pounds, and every once in a while I'll get a light load, but for the most part they've been heavy. And man, it used to seem like it was a lot easier to find lighter, sorry, lighter loads, but here lately everything is just heavy as it can be. And I kind of like it because I wanted to see how this PACCAR would pull. And it does okay. It's not a powerhouse, but it gets the job done. Man, that's weird. I can't keep thinking. I can't quit thinking about what Pachyderm was saying earlier that he saw me in Denver. I sure wish he would have came up and said hi. I like meeting you guys out there. Several people came through with a dog. I think I know who he is, but I'm not 100% sure. Sorry. You can hear my voice. It's going away now. My voice may dictate how much longer we can do this tonight. Yeah, I guess I'm kind of dumbfounded when I get some of those comments about it doesn't go up the hill as fast as I want, or it doesn't take off as fast as I want. And the thing I would say to everybody is these trucks were never designed to be race cars. Now, I had some trucks back in the 2000s that were triple digit trucks. They took a little while to get there, but they'd get there. And these trucks are designed to pull. And if it takes you 30 seconds extra to get up a hill, but you save on fuel, it's worth it. And so I just, I don't know, some of these guys, they expect it to run like their Camaro or their Mustang GT, and it was never set up for that. Yeah, that was before I knew you well. And I think I disagreed with his answer. Didn't he say you couldn't? But I believe you can if you're using it for your monetized YouTube channel, which you do. I, I mean, again, I'm not a tax advisor. Consult a tax person for your own taxes. But uh, Tom does a lot of videos where he's got like a drone up in the air above a truck stop and showing people parking and stuff. So that's his whole YouTube channel. I would think that's deductible. I deduct my YouTube expenses. I'm sure there's going to be some questions. People that have live-in parents, if they can carry health insurance on them. You know, how to find out if their doctor's in his network, how to find out if their prescription drugs are covered, things like that. And so I'm sure we'll have some questions, what the qualifications are, things like that. But if you guys have got some specific questions, that's the ones I'm really hoping for. I'm going to get to that in a second. But yeah, Tom, I after I watched a few of your videos and got to know you better now, I realize you're not a troll. You're actually a pretty good guy. I like your stuff. You were wearing a blue Swift shirt. Yeah, I still wear the Swift shirts. When I was there, I got hooked up with a lot of good Swift paraphernalia, and I still wear it. And I still, for example, my shower bag is a Swift shower bag that I won at their driver appreciation thing. It's just because the company I work for now, he doesn't have any, you know, merchandise that his company has. If he had it, I would wear his stuff. I've got a couple of F2F coolers in here that I rarely use. I mostly use them for storage more than anything. But yeah, I don't see any point in throwing the shirts away. They're good shirts. And like I said, my experience at Swift was good. But I wish this company was a little bigger and he had, coffee mugs, t-shirts, hats, things like that. I have a Belgian. Oh, that was that big dog. Yeah. Well, I seen you looking at me and I thought maybe you was just checking out what I was doing because I had my headset on, I had my two phones on. But there's nothing more pretentious than walking up to somebody and going, "I'm Trucker Todd. Do you know who I am?" And them going, "Who?" And so I didn't want to make an ass out of myself. But man, if I'd have known it was you, I'd have went over and said hi. It. I'm sorry about that, man. And with you not having a picture on here, I can't go, he looks familiar. Because you look nothing like your profile picture here, by the way. So I'm not revealing that yet. Some people thought it was my hat, but this is not. This is a hat that the Thermo King dealer in Lubbock gave me. They gave me 3 hats, and I've been wearing them because I really like the hats. You were on your phone saying today's drivers don't have the same work ethic as the old school drivers. That sounds like something I would say. That's something us old people say. You young whippersnappers. But yeah, I was probably complaining about work ethic now. Um, hey, my good friend John Toohey is here. Glad you could make it in, my friend. I went to a guy with 5 trucks, a lot better, nice and peaceful. Yeah, same with me. I think he's got 6 now here, 6 or 7, and it's pretty nice. I mean, like I said, at any company you go to, sometimes you're going to be frustrated. I frustrated him today. I didn't do something the way he thought I should do it. He frustrated me today the way he reacted to it, but that's normal. Anybody that's not you is going to frustrate you at some point. But I have a lot less issues and stuff than I did at any of the larger mega carriers or medium sized carriers. And I think him and his wife, well, first of all, I think they pray for me on a regular basis and I pray for them. And, uh, and I think they have a genuine interest in hoping I do well. Now, you could argue that, well, they only want you to do well because then they do well. And The motivation for why somebody cares about you or hopes you do well is not a reason to not be appreciative of that. The fact that they have well wishes for me is enough for me, even if they benefit from those well wishes. So I would agree with you. I like the small town vibe, especially as an owner operator, especially as an independent contractor, things like that. That's about half my wardrobe clothes from companies I work for. Well, and part of the reason I do it is for that reason. When I go out in public, I try to wear that stuff so that if you guys see me in a truck stop, you'll come up and say hi. I am working on some Trucker Todd merchandise, and obviously, when that gets done, I'll start wearing Trucker Todd shirts and hats and stuff as much as I can. And of course, that stuff will be available for you guys to get as well if y'all want some of that. I know one guy said he wanted a coffee cup with my picture on it. And I laughed and I told him, the last thing I'd want to see when I woke up in the morning is my face on a coffee cup. But he thought it was funny and he thought it'd be cool. I know one guy said he wanted a Trucker Todd bobblehead. And so you never know, we may have a bobblehead. I think that'd be funny too. My accountant allowed me to deduct all my cameras and drones purchased in 2022. Yeah, I agree. I think that's great. Sometime I want to have a conversation with you about your drone, what kind you use, where you got it, what it cost, and things like that. I would like to incorporate a drone in some of my videos at some point, but I know for a fact I'm not as skilled at it as you are. I'll be honest with you, the last drone I flew it into my son's house and it didn't work for several days after that. So I would definitely need some practice to get up to your level with a drone. The company I'm going to only has 8 trucks. I think you'll be really happy there. It's it's something it's something about having access to the owner. You know, sometimes when you're at a big company, the problem gets lost in translation because everybody puts their spin on it. And let's just pick a random company. Let's pick Dart. Let's say that I've got a problem at Dart and I call my fleet manager and I say, this is my problem. And she says, oh, I got to talk to my supervisor. That's above me. They say, well, they got to talk to their supervisor. It's above them. Well, the story that supervisor gets, and I actually had this happen, it made it up to a vice president. And the vice president got an entirely different spin on the story than what was truthful. So, being Trucker Todd, it worked out that I got to talk directly with that vice president, and she had a whole different opinion and outlook on it after her and I got to talk. Well, the same's true here. You know, if I've got an issue, I can call the owner directly and I can say, here's my deal. There's no middlemen putting their spin on it, making Trucker Todd look bad, things like that. So, he's the owner, so decisions get made instantly. He can say, Todd, I think you're full of crap. This is the way it is. Or he can say, all right, I didn't realize it was a problem. I'll fix it right now. And, you know, we did have one example. He accidentally overcharged me on one trailer payment by $25. He fixed it instantly. It'll be on your next check. I'm sorry about that. Had I been at Swift, I would have had to call a payroll person. They would have had to contact my fleet manager. My fleet manager would have had to sign off on it. Then they'd have had to take it to a payroll supervisor, and it could have took 2 or 3 weeks to fix. So I'm getting to where I like that small company feel as well. Then big companies like to micromanage, and I come here and I just call once a day and let them know I'm okay. Yeah, I don't even call once a day usually. He calls me 2 or 3 times a week. Now, I know for a fact that he follows me pretty tightly computer wise. He looked at my logs pretty close this week. He called several times wanting to know when I thought I was going to be here because he was wanting to hang out. He wasn't doing it with the intentions of micromanagement. he was doing it with the intentions of planning and, frankly, being excited about me coming. So, as you can guess, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. I know I'm going to catch some ridicule for that. But more than that, I'm really an NFL fan. I love the NFL. I love watching any football game. Yes, the Cowboys lost yesterday, but the team they were playing played first string for the first two series. The Cowboys played second string and down the whole game. It was preseason. It doesn't count. I'm not heartbroken. Yes, I do like Dak Prescott a lot. I'm a huge Dak Prescott fan. And yes, he's made some bad throws. Uh, every quarterback has. But some of the stuff that has been blamed on him was not his fault. He threw it in the receiver's hands. The receiver didn't catch it. It went up and it got picked off. So, is Dak Prescott perfect? Absolutely not. But can he take us to the big game? I think he can. And so far, he hadn't done it. So, right now, you guys that are naysayers, I agree with you. But I think his time's coming. And I think he's a class act. I think he represents the Cowboys well. And, uh, and so I like the guy. I have to record a bit of content before the daylight fades. Remember, this is not Tuesday or Thursday. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I'm appreciative of you guys, even on the other days besides Tuesday and Thursday. There's a growing roar of you guys that want me to do videos like this 7 days a week. And I can tell you at this juncture in my life, that would be almost impossible to do just because my schedule is so tight. I think I disappointed a lot of people this weekend because I couldn't give them the time that they wanted. Like Pachyderm was saying, when he saw me at the truck stop, I was on the phone talking to a driver about work ethic and things like that. So, um, sure, right now it's 2 videos a week when I can. At some point, we may increase that or decrease that as the need arises. But I'm so grateful for each and every one of you and the contributions y'all make to this channel, both monetarily and with your time. I don't want to leave anybody out, and I'm trying to find out ways to reward the super fans even more, memberships and things like that. There's memberships I can do that are like $5 a month, and I just want to make sure you're getting something for your $5 a month. Some of you have wanted to be able to track where I go around the country. So if we're nearby each other, we might could meet or, have lunch together or something. I may put that in a membership deal. I'm not sure what exclusive content I could give you. I'm pretty much sharing everything I can come up with right now, even suggestions like the one I got tonight about what to do immediately after an accident. Um, those kind of things I'm going to try to do because we need to get content out. If there's a news story that comes out, I think you guys will be interested in. I try to put that out, but I generally don't hold it back. I guess I could hold it a day and let members get it first. But by then 50 YouTubers have made videos on it, and then I'm just copying what everybody else has out. So if you can think of something you'd like to see in a membership or something like that, I'll sure entertain things. I'm guessing nobody wants an autographed picture or nothing like that. And, who knows, when we get the membership thing going, we might could throw a coffee mug in or something like that, or a t-shirt at a certain level. And so I'm trying to find ways to give you all more of what y'all are wanting. Company I'm with is awesome. Been there 6 years, working on 1,000,000 miles with them. That's awesome. Heck yeah, swag, t-shirts, hats, etc. And you guys wouldn't believe this, but I still, Dart's been several years ago. Roadrunner's been several years ago. Swift is more recent, but people still ask me questions about those companies, and I don't talk bad about any of the three. There was a time I talked bad about Roadrunner, but I feel like they've made some positive changes since then. And so I tell people, that I enjoyed my time at those places. Yes, the owner of my company does drive. He has a yellow Volvo, and as a matter of fact, in tomorrow's video, if you look closely behind, uh, not tomorrow's video, later in the week, I've got a video coming out where I'm going to show my old trailer, which I'm currently hooked to, and the new one, which I'm getting, or newer one that I'm getting tomorrow. If you look closely behind my old trailer in that video, you can see his yellow Volvo in the background. And that's what I say. He still works on it. He's got one of those green APUs. He's been a great resource of information about what he likes about it, what he don't like about it. I was in talks with Green APU about having them come on a Tuesday show and talk about their product. But after talking to him, I decided to kind of hold off on that for a while. And so, but yeah, he does drive. Now he's got him kind of a gravy deal set up. He leaves out like on Monday and comes back Friday, and he's off on the weekends. But yeah, he'll get out there and work with the best of them. He's actually loading my trailer for me in the morning and bringing it to me so I can get going quicker. Like I said, you have to get pretty nitpicky to find anything that's not likable about the guy. That's not what you would want to see in the owner of a company. Is he perfect? Absolutely not. Is he really, really good? Yeah. Do we agree on every single thing? No, not even close. Do I frustrate him? Absolutely. Does he frustrate me? Yeah, sometimes. Do I think he generally tries to help me and is generally a good guy? Yeah, I do. And when it gets to the point where I do say where I'm at and recommend him, I'll be doing it like I am this headset. I can really tell you this headset is excellent, and I can tell you he's really good. Pull over, winter's coming. You know, it's funny you mentioned that. I've got a friend, he's a viewer. He's usually in here. I don't think he's in here tonight. He's dealing with some issues with his house at home right now, but he actually does take the winter off. He used to be in car sales, made a bunch of money, and he kind of drives a truck just to fill his time now, and he takes the winter off every year. No Fear says his owner drives too. I think you pretty much have to when you're under 10 trucks. Now, when you get up around 15 or 20, then maybe you can kind of come off the road. But I think you still want to keep driving so that you're still relevant to your drivers. When I was at Swift, I was making really good money off of YouTube, and at some point I had considered coming off the road. It had been approached to me by companies about, hey, why don't you come off the road? Why don't you recruit full time? Why don't you promote our company? We'll pay you to just stay home and make videos. And I considered it, but how can I be Trucker Todd if I'm not a trucker? And how can I tell you how great a company is if I'm not working there, or how great a lease purchase is if I'm not doing the lease purchase? And so that's kind of where I'm at on that right now. I think even if I won the lottery and was loaded with money, if I wanted to keep the YouTube thing going, I would have to drive a truck in some capacity. Now, it might be local runs around the house, but I think people want to see me in the truck. I think people want to see me at the truck shows. I think people want to run into me at the truck stops because it gives me credibility. I got tired of setting with the other company I was with, so I'm like, see ya. Yeah, I think Swift lost a lot of drivers during that setting period, but from what I hear, they're getting their freight back now. I'm just glad you found a good place now. Big company, you're a number. My company, they treat you like your family. Yeah, same here. I've never once called this guy and said, hey, I'm driver number blah blah blah. I do have a driver number. The only time I ever use it's when I'm fueling. It'll ask me my driver ID. And usually I don't even say my name. He knows who I am by my voice, and I'm sure I'm in his caller ID. Um, I don't know if he calls me. I never paid attention if he calls me Trucker Todd or just Todd. But yeah, he knows who I am. You know, if his wife and family saw me at Walmart, they would know who I was. They'd say, "Hey, Todd." Like I said, I seriously considered going to church with them this morning, but I just needed to unwind a little. It's been a tough couple of weeks. That's me. I just make one call and he does it all. Well, I make a call sometimes, but I do it all. I book the loads, negotiate the rates, and all of that. But he'll call, and 90% of his calls are, "Hey, Todd, how are you doing? I just wanted to check on you. Everything okay? You need anything?" And 90% of the time, that's it. Um, like I said, when I was coming to his house this weekend, I did get a lot more calls, and normally it would have felt like micromanagement. But in this case, I knew that they were just excited I was coming. They wanted me to go to dinner with them Saturday night, and they're trying to make plans. So I didn't take it as micromanagement. I just took it as excitement and trying to make concrete plans. So no harm, no foul. Do you use the same broker on your load, or do you use multiple brokers? So I use a lot of brokers. Um, DAT is the primary one because I pay for it, so I'm always going to look there first. But all the big ones you'd think of: Schneider, JB Hunt, uh, Coyote, CH Robinson, all of those, I check them all. Convoy, but primarily I do DAT because they seem to have a well-rounded look. I've started using Trucker Path a little bit, but um, not exclusively or a lot. Look at Uber sometimes. I used to have the TQL app. Now I just look at the TQL loads through DAT, and I'm usually not impressed. Seattle Seahawks. There you go. Um, Not bad, not bad. I like the Seahawks. Detroit Lions. I was a big Detroit Lions fan many years ago when Barry Sanders was there. When did Dallas get a football team? So here's the deal, and I'm just going to put this to bed. I'm going to tell you the problem with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to tell you why everybody loves to hate them. I can say it in two words: Jerry Jones. The problem with the Dallas Cowboys is Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones wants to be the head coach when things are going well, and he wants a scapegoat when things are not going well. And that's why he can't keep a good head coach. He's had several good head coaches over his tenure. Now, my uncle can't forgive him for how he fired Tom Landry. And I agree, Tom Landry should have been let go, but he should have been able to retire. Should have handled it with a lot more professionalism than just cutting him loose like a dirty pair of underwear or something. So I would say the problem with the Cowboys is Jerry Jones. Now it's his team; he can do what he wants, but a lot of the reason people hate the Cowboys, even Cowboys fans, is Jerry Jones. Yeah, when you will a big company, you're just a number. Most of them have never been in a truck and don't have a clue. Well, I went through something embarrassing when I went to Phoenix with Swift because uh, most of you don't know in person, I'm actually a pretty shy, kind of quiet guy, especially in the beginning. And I walked into Building 11 in Phoenix, which is kind of the owner operator building. I had a meeting with the VP of owner operators and with the uh, with the head of rapid response, which is like the financial wing of owner operators there that are doing lease purchases. And When I walked in, somebody yelled, "It's Trucker Todd." And the whole room, there was probably 30 or 40 people in there, stopped what they're doing and looked at me. And my wife was with me. She's really shy too. It was, I'm trying to think how to describe it. It was nice, but at the same time, it was overwhelming. And I was a little embarrassed, but they were just so happy to see me, and everybody wanted to shake my hand and come over and talk to me. And but it was definitely unexpected, especially at a big company. But I found that a lot at terminals. I got recognized quite a bit. Have you seen every clutch trucker video? Haven't seen any clutch trucker videos. That's something. I don't watch a lot of other YouTubers that are in the trucking genre, just for the simple reason that I don't want to copy their videos. I don't want to say what they say. I want the stuff I say on here to be my opinion and coming from me. So I don't watch a lot. Even that Trucking Made Successful, I don't watch every one of her videos. If she has a video come out that I think I could learn something from, or that, well, I could learn something from every one of her videos, but something that's pertinent to what I'm saying or doing, then I'll watch it. Some of the old Swift people, Contractors Corner, I don't watch every one of their videos, but if they have something coming out that is pertinent to me or that is of interest to me, then I'll check it out and see what they've got to say. Cash is King. I watch him when I can. His stuff's more lighthearted. I watch a lot of his shorts because I can watch them real quick and move on to the next one. But the thing you'll learn about me, and the thing that most disappoints people when they meet me in person, is just how little free time I have. Like this morning, I really should have went with the owner and Tim and gone to church, and we really should have went to the lake and all of that. But load first. I wanted to get the load out here. I wanted to get some videos out, things like that. And so I know I disappointed them a little bit, but hopefully next time we can do some of those things. Yeah, mine loaded my load, and all I did was drop and go yesterday. Yeah, that's what I'm doing in the morning. And, it's going to save me a couple hours, which I'll need for this load. It's pretty hot, but I appreciate them doing that. It's a lot of extra work for him. He's going to drive about an hour from his house over here, load my trailer, take this one back that's empty. And so it'll be a couple hours out of his day. Did he have to do it? Absolutely not. Originally, I was going to have to go to the drop yard about an hour away, but he wanted to help, and I appreciate that. Hey, Deontay's here, man. I'm glad you made it. I've been wondering how you is doing. I tried for the longest time to email you, and I couldn't find your email anywhere. But that ship has sailed. I was going to interview you about an account you were on at Swift, and since I'm not at Swift no more, I won't be doing that video. But I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad things are going well for you. Good afternoon, everybody. Hey, Alaska Hall is here. Glad you made it in, man. I love your truck with all those chicken lights on them. I'd still drive and act broke. Yeah, yeah. For me right now, acting broke is not hard. It's more of a reality than an act. There were times that I did downplay that I was doing a little better than I might have let on. The owner of this company, I think he's pretty realistic. I mean, it's obvious when you meet him that he's got some money, but he doesn't flaunt it, and he still haggles with the shops. He still tries to get the best deal he can. So I think I would be a lot like he is in that regard. Um, he's pretty humble about his money. He's never you know, opened his bank account and went, I've got, $500,000 in here. I've got, look what I just bought. But he's got some nice stuff. He's got a couple of nice boats. He's got a really nice house. He just bought some property that they're planning to build a real nice place on in a couple of years. Um, he's got two girls in college, I believe. Two are in college, and he's helping them through college. And his wife, to the best of my knowledge, doesn't have a regular job, but she does work in the business. She does payroll and a lot of parts running and things like that. She's a very busy person. So yeah, he's got a good setup, and Tim and I were talking about this morning. I don't think Tim will mind me sharing this story, but I want the owner of the company I work for to be successful. I hope this owner is making money hand over fist. Why? Because that's job security. You know what? If he's making money hand over fist, my check is going to clear the bank. Uh, if he's making money hand over fist, he's not going to look for ways that he can nickel and dime me out of money. He's not going to call me like some drivers have been called and tell me, hey, I'm going to have to cut you. I know you're getting 80% right now, but due to the economy, I need to take you to 75%. So I mean, I want this guy to do well. I want Swift to do well when I was there. I wanted Dart to do well when I was there. And I look at myself as a pitcher for a baseball team, kind of when I drive for these companies. Whatever team I'm working for, that's the team I want to do well. So as long as I'm working here, I'm going to do everything I can to make him successful. That's going to mean taking care of his trailers. That's going to mean taking care of the freight. That's going to mean driving safely, because I want him to be successful so he can pay me. Plus, I like the guy. I like his family. I want him to do well, just like he wants me to do well. I mentioned earlier that I believe with all my heart that him and his wife pray for me. Well, I pray for them too. And it's not for a greedy, selfish reason. I want him to do well. I'm amazed how many people go, "Oh, they're making money off me. I hope they're not making it." And it's like, you got to get that out. You got to get that hate out of your heart and quit wishing bad on everybody and being jealous and envy of everybody. Good night, y'all. Eat, sleep, pray, drive t-shirts. There you go. Great idea, your crazy uncle. We may do a variation of that. I'm working on all that right now. My good friend John Toohey gave me a great idea for a logo, and so now I'm moving with the next steps. You're correct on that, brother. He has had several excellent head coaches. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Jimmy Johnson should still be there. He was a great coach. Bill Parcells, great coach. I mean, what's he doing? And a lot of people want to jump on Jason Garrett. Nothing was wrong with Jason Garrett. They let him call plays one season, which I thought he did pretty good. After that, they took it away from him, and he wasn't the play caller anymore. How can you be the head coach of a team and be responsible for everything, but you're not allowed to call the plays? And so, when they're Super Bowl champions like they were with Jimmy Johnson, then boy, Jerry Jones is in front of the camera, and it's all because of him, and he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And when the coach has an off season, it's, oh, they got to go. They're horrible. If you're going to take credit in the good times, you got to take credit in the bad times. Hey, Tim Back is with us. You got the shocks done. Who did them for you, man? Did you end up doing them yourself? So let me tell a little backstory here so everybody can join us in this. Tim went to orientation. He's at the same company I'm at now. And one of the things he wanted to do to his truck was replace the shocks. And him and the owner of the company tried to do it during orientation, and they found it to be a challenging endeavor. And so they were going to try to find somewhere that would do it for them. And it sounds like Tim found a place that got it done. In a later comment, he says he got it done at the TA for $150. Well, that's better than the blood, sweat, and tears y'all would have gone through doing it yourself. So congratulations. Um, yeah, that's great, man. I'm wondering how far did you make it tonight? If you don't feel comfortable telling me in this forum, you can text it to me later. Um, the reason I'm asking, Tim and I are going to the same place tomorrow, and he's got a little bit of a head start. So I don't think I'm going to catch him, but I'm going to try. Hauling some fresh fish from Homer, Alaska to Seattle. Been a long weekend with truck issues. Man, that's one of the things on my bucket list. I would love to go to Alaska. I used to watch a reality show called Wild West Alaska, and it was about a gun shop in, I believe it was in Anchorage. And it only lasted like 1 or 2 seasons, but ever since I watched that show, I wanted to go to Alaska and check it out. And and I'd kind of like to go to Hawaii, but I hear Hawaii is very expensive. Have a good night, Ramon. Thank you for being here. He says, have a good night, buddy. Hope to see you on Tuesday's show. Start driving soon. All right, man. Be careful out there. Look forward to it, my friend. Hey, Skyline made it in. I was actually talking about you third person earlier today, Skyline. I was telling them that you work at Crete and you're very happy there. And I was talking about their owner operator program and saying that I don't know much about it. You know, I always heard that they micromanage, but you say they don't micromanage you. And I don't see a lot of owner operators over there, and I don't know why. Their program doesn't look terrible, but I wondered if maybe if I'm just running in the wrong circles. Do you see a lot of owner operators at Crete? Load off my mind, still driving. Oh, good deal. Hey, Racing Ray is here. Glad you could make it. Happy birthday to you. So earlier, while he's here, I want to tell this story. Earlier, I had a guy in the comments that was going by the name My Crazy Uncle. And I said, well, I think my crazy uncle is celebrating his birthday right now. And I think my wife's with him. But I guess y'all are done eating. And man, I was kicking myself. I didn't know he was going out tonight to celebrate. And I was in Lubbock. And I booked a load at like 8:30 or 9 that morning. And he called me around 11 that morning. And had I known, I would have tried to hang around and went to his birthday or tried to do something short where I could get right back. But I really needed to get to Mississippi and pick up this trailer tomorrow. But yeah, that's my uncle, a really good friend of mine, and I hope he's having a great birthday tonight. Hawaii is trying to survive from the wildfires. Yeah, that would be my luck. I'd go there when there's a bunch of wildfires or something. Yeah, I still watch all your videos when I can, Skyline. I'm glad you're doing well over there. And if I ever get into a point in my life where I'm considering Crete, which, you know, if things ever went south here, I would consider it just because they have a lot there in Lubbock. But I would definitely call you and use you as a referral because you've been a wealth of knowledge. I don't see that happening just because I really like what I'm doing now, and I hope I get to keep doing it. Yeah, exactly, Michael. They had a girl on there. They called her Fred. Her real name was like Caroline or something. But they would shoot all these really cool guns. They had kind of a crazy guy on there that was like Uncle Si from Duck Dynasty. And they had like a kind of a chubby manager guy. He was pretty cool. But the cast was great on that show. I love that show. Grab a load up here. Seen some dry load freight all summer going to Alaska on the board. Yeah, the company I'm working for, he wants us to stay in in the 46. He don't want us going to California or Oregon. Won't let us go to Canada, so that would rule out Alaska. And I don't have a passport, but I would probably get one to go up there. From what I hear, there's some really good paying loads going up there. So good that if you had to deadhead back, it'd be okay. But I think we're a ways away from where he would let me go on something like that. Oh yes, definitely. A lot of them, most of them run dedicated account, less miles, more profit. Yeah, exactly. And so I did their little calculator thing when I had my Volvo on their website, and it's not terrible. I was making a little more at Swift, but it's not terrible. It's definitely something. Like I said, if I lost this truck, if it got repoed and this guy cut me loose, they'd be a company I'd look at, basically just because of you. Because I heard all these bad things, but because I've watched you, I've found you to be an honest guy. I would kind of take your word for it, and I'd look at them pretty close. And by the way, I'll go ahead and say it. If y'all hadn't checked out Skyline's YouTube channel, go check it out. He's got some good stuff over there. He's a real honest guy, kind of like I am. And help him out. Subscribe to his channel. Watch a couple of videos and see what you think. I'm sure he'd appreciate having you over there, but he's going to tell you the truth. And if you go to Crete, use him as a referral. But he's going to tell you the good and the bad, and that's why I like watching him. Those are the top YouTubers I watch. He's not going to sugarcoat it and say, oh, he's making, $8,000 a week take home. He's going to tell you the truth. One of my friends grabbed 2 loads and put it in one dry van a few months ago, $15K a load, but that's very rare to be able to fit 2. Yeah, some guys were saying there's some loads going up there for like $30,000, but you have to like deadhead back. I'm like, that's $15,000 each way. I'd do that. And of course, you've got to really watch what the weather's going to be like in Canada and things like that. But man, that's it's so pretty up there and so nice that I would really like to go one day. You're welcome, sir. Just spitting the truth. Finding fuel stops would be a bit of a problem. Yeah, well, this ES Advantage card I got, it'll pretty much work anywhere that EFS is taken. The NASTIC card, I'm sure it's pretty limited. And I'm going to do a comparison video of those 2 cards sometime here really soon. You guys might remember a while back when I was doing the roundtables, or I think we did it on the roundtables. We kind of debated which fuel card was the best. And at the time, I'd never tried NASTIC. Now that I've used both, I've used NASTIC for a couple of months. I kind of see the good and bad about it, and I think it'd be kind of an interesting video. And I also had one called Trucker Solutions for a while. I think it'd be good kind of for me to, do a comparison video of the 3. Looks like reefer freight went up coming out of Washington. Seen loads on the board for 10K going to the Northeast. Don't say that. You'll make me want a reefer. In those kind of circumstances, I'd pull a reefer again. And I've got the ability to get one. All right, let's pull that so y'all can see the website again. I'm going to remind everybody, because some of you just joined us. If you want to get a truck like I did, even with not so great credit, basically a lease purchase without the lease, call Avery. His number's in the ticker at the bottom of your screen. Tell him you've been watching Trucker Todd. You want the Trucker Todd deal. He's going to get you hooked up. Give me a thumbs up. Share this video. Tell your friends about it. Make sure you're subscribed and click that bell. Select all so you get videos when they come out. You get notifications for them. All those things are free to do. They really, really, really help me out. And So that's what I'd say about that. The website is up and running. It's truckertodd.net. Go check that out. There's a lot of information there. That that I'm headset that I'm reviewing and like so much is not on there yet, but it'll be on there soon. I meant to do it before the show tonight. Didn't get it done. You can email me from that website. It's got a contact me now thing on there, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Or you can email me directly at todd@truckertodd.net. That's todd@truckertodd.net. Either way is fine with me. Uh, but yeah, I thank all of you for being here tonight. Let's see what else we got. So Gary says Love takes the Nastic, but they charge a $2 fee. So on my Nastic card, maybe some of them are different. It will only work at at the stops that are on the app, and Love's is never ever ever on there. Maybe you've got a different Nastic card. Maybe the guy that I work for has restricted it in some way so he doesn't get the $2 fee. But I remember I stopped at a truck stop when I first got the card, and I said, "Do you guys take Fleet One? Because it's a Fleet One Nastic card." They said, "Yeah, we do." And I went out there and I couldn't get the card to activate. So I went into the fuel desk and they couldn't get it to activate. And they said, "Oh, it's not network for here, even if it's a Fleet One card." And so I ended up buying, like, I don't remember, several $100s worth of fuel out of pocket. At the time, I didn't have any money on my ES Advantage card, and it wasn't a Mudflap location either. So that's been my biggest problem with Nastic is the network's a little bit limited. And to the owner of the company, if you're watching tonight, that ES Advantage card I got, um, I know before you and I talked about it, and sorry, I'm losing my voice again. There was some reasons you didn't want to get it. They've alleviated some of those reasons. If you'll remind me, I'll tell you about the changes, and that way you can look into it if you want to. Nastic don't give a discount on fuel, but you pay the cash price. Yeah, it seems like it depends on the location. I don't know enough about that end of it to argue. Sometimes, usually, I find myself paying about 30 or 40 cents below pump price, but a lot of times my ES Advantage card will beat that. Rest area before you get to Tuscaloosa for the night. Ah, Tim, you just started driving. Are you going to bed already? Or are you just trying to ensure you'll get parking? I would definitely run a reefer over dry van if you want to run coast to coast. Yeah, I don't really want to run coast to coast, and I'll tell you why. It's just because my truck's a higher mileage truck. I got 500 and something thousand miles on it now, so I'm all about the revenue. If I can make the revenue on less miles, then I'll do that. But in a scenario like you're talking about, if I can make $10,000 a week running coast to coast, then yeah, of course I'm willing to do that. And so, yeah, I'm wherever the money is, man. I don't like multi-stop loads either, but I've been doing a lot of them lately. There's the website again. I'm Trucker Todd. For those that are just joining, man, we're going strong tonight. We're almost at the 3 hour mark. Appreciate you guys being here and hanging with me. Got about 3 hours. Just wanted to get down the road a bit. Can't deliver till Tuesday. No rush. I'm gonna try my best to catch you in the morning, but I think you've got a little bit of a head start. Let's see. Let's see just how far away from me you are. How far am I from Tuscaloosa, Alabama? Of course, this phone's not going to work tonight because it never works when I need it to. Let's ask the other phone. How far am I from Tuscaloosa, Alabama? Oh, you're 4 hours ahead of me, 281 miles. Probably won't catch you unless you lollygag around in the morning. But you never know. Yeah, that's what I thought. Tim goes to bed early and gets up early. He's a worker. He will self-proclaim he does not play around. When he's kind of like I am, a work hard, play hard type. And when he's out here, he's working, and when he's off, he's off. Like, I don't even call him when he's at home, but when he's out here working, he works hard for sure. But I think we're going to the same location, so if nothing else, I may see him Tuesday morning. It's just I'm going to squeak in there at the last minute, and he'll be there a few hours early. I have 1.3 million, and you run to Alaska twice a week. LOL. Mileage doesn't scare me. Yeah, but there's a caveat to that. You have an older truck without all this emissions junk on it, and that makes a big difference. Yep, you have to do what you have to do to survive. Exactly. My time to rest is at home. I run whatever the load needs. Yeah, I do too. I try to mix some casual in. You're going to have some downtime, especially running the spot market. And people always ask me, how do you have time to make videos and do these lives? And it's that you have to plan. Like, I'm in a situation now where the warehouse ain't open till tomorrow morning. So I've got time to do a video right now. As long as I get in bed in the next hour and a half or so, I'll get plenty of sleep for tomorrow. And so that's how I do that. During the week, hopefully on a Tuesday or Thursday, I've driven earlier that day. I'm parked by that time. Sometimes I split log. These videos usually go about 3 hours. So I'll do a 7-3 split and keep going. And so that's kind of how I do it. But yeah, there's different strokes for different folks out here. And the secret's to finding something that works for you. I meant to say twice a month, not twice a week. I was like, wow, you're the man. Twice a week. I've learned not to question what you people say, because I don't know, maybe you sorry, I got to take another drink of water, losing my voice. You might run, man, that's good. Uh, you might run team with somebody, and maybe you can do it. But yeah, that's good money right now. But yeah, I'd run that Washington State to the Northeast and back every week for $10,000 each way. The best load I ever got with a dry van was from California to Georgia, and I want to say it was like 9,800. I was pretty happy. It was a load of bicycles. All right, we're going to pull that off so y'all can still see the website as my chair deflates, because I've had the truck off so long. People say it gets harder to see me, so I'll try to adjust the screen so everybody can see me. But as I've stated, Tim and I talked about doing a live last night, and I said, all my viewers are old. They all go to bed at like 8:30, 9 o'clock. So we ended up not doing one last night. But yeah, we're probably going to wrap this up here pretty quick. You guys know I'll have 2 hours worth of phone calls after I get off of here. But I appreciate everybody coming in tonight. Y'all look for that video tomorrow morning, and we'll see you on Tuesday night with the live show. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Y'all be safe, be careful, get a good night's rest. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.